And hello everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Hi, I'm D&D Jordan Lee, and I am joined by this amazing cast for episode 9. I can't believe it's episode 9 already of Ampistrano. The title is The Price of Change, because there's a lot of things that are happening today that may or may not be great. I don't know. We'll find out. Don't worry, our wonderful dragonborn wizard Cal, aka Finn Archer, will be joining us shortly. He had a prior engagement and is coming in super hot, so when he is available, we'll go to a quick cutscene and then bring him on in. But before we dive into the episode and stuff, let's go over some announcements. Let's start with April. Oh, you muted.
Hello! Hi! Howdy! I'm April, and I remembered that we do announcements of this show, and I love 1985 games. They make mystery dice bags. I think right now they're like buy one, get one for the same price, or like $20. Don't listen to the first thing I said. That was not a deal. But they do really cool things. I have some of their battle maps somewhere. They're awesome. Go gently say the code that's going to be over here. Yeah, that's the right direction. Over here in the chat. Say it very gently into their little coupon window, and you'll get a cool little discount from us because you like us and you like stuff. So go buy stuff from them.
Yay. Amazing. We'll jump over to Fair.
Hi, I'm Fair, and I'm here to tell you about coffee and tea. Woo-hoo! Now, so many people like these two beverages. I have nothing today. I'm so sorry, but also I'm not sorry. But if you like tea specifically, you can hit up Friday Afternoon Tea. They are crafters of fandom-based teas, synesthesia-based teas, from Sailor Moon to D&D. Friday Afternoon Tea has it all. I personally have had some of their blends, and they are fantastic. Pirate King, one of my absolute faves. But yeah, and if you want 10% off your purchase, you can enter D&D Jordan Lee. Smash your keyboard when you write it, because it is in all caps. And you get 10% off your purchase. Now, if you like tea but also coffee, we are also affiliates with Found Familiar, who are crafters of both. I haven't had any of their blends or anything, but I've heard great things about them, especially their coffees. And if you want 10% off as well, again, smash that keyboard, D&D Jordan Lee, into the discount code box, and you will save some money. And also, we will get a portion of the purchase because we're affiliates, and money is great. Thanks.
Amazing. Perfection. Thank you so much, Fair. Our lovely Finn, as I mentioned, will be joining us, so I will do the announcement for... We are also affiliated with Talon and Claw. They are makers of amazing dice vaults, trays, DM screens, and now candles as well. So you know what? Go and take a moment today to give your dice a little TLC, because their dice vaults are absolutely stunning. I have a couple that are just out of reach. They also have coasters. Yes, thank you, Fair, for putting that up, because our lovely...
April put hers up first. I can't take credit.
I saw you first, so you get the credit. Then it's April.
No.
So, love you, April. But our lovely Finn got everybody in the cast some coasters. So you can, hey, you know what? Your GM is doing a lot of work. If you want to just, give them a little coaster so that way their drinks don't mess up their stuff, hey, go check them out. They're also amazing people as well. Go ahead and use code D&D Jordan Lee for 10% off of your purchase. That actually goes back towards the cast, so it'll help us out. So that's a way to support. Another thing is we are also affiliates with Idle Champions, so go ahead and use the code below. It's also in chat if you type in !idle to get one Electrum chest. Along with that, amazing news. On Monday, September 12th, a familiar quest returns with DM Latia Jaquise, Em Montgomery, Michelle, Gabe Hicks, Eugenia Vargas, and special guest Kelly Butler will be playing Scotty the Rescue Pup. This will be happening at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be able to add Scotty to your familiars on September 21st with the benefits of getting Scotty in your formation, but also it will also help out Take This, which is an incredible organization that helps streamers, gamers, all of that with different resources such as burnout, stress. It's just a really great community. I'm an ambassador, so I'm a bit biased. But yeah, so that is something to check out as well. Let me go through my notes.
And Kelly and I are voice twins, by the way.
It's very true. It's very true. Let me check other things real quick. Again, we're going to promote that RoboGoblin is raising money to fund an all-POC journey through the Radiant Citadel Analogy show. 13 adventures, 13 casts, all people of color, one connected story, as Robo puts it. We would like to support our friends in this venture, so please consider helping in any way possible. They almost have the 6th adventure funded. They're so close. I want this for them so much. So please consider helping out RoboGoblin. You can also enter an exclamation point Steffi and exclamation point Simon. Again, pointing to 2 incredible people that are trying to take the next step in their journey. Steffi, I believe, is closing in on her goal. She's getting super close. So again, want to point that out as well. See, y'all, am I forgetting anything? Do we have anything else we want to plug?
No, nothing I can think of at the moment.
Our Patreon.
That's right, our Patreon. Oh, good segue, Fair. I appreciate you. Yes, go and check out our Patreon. We did just put out earlier this week. I have a playlist that I put together based upon the cast and where they're at so far. So if you want to go check that out, get some behind the scenes things, as well as some of our early announcements, go check out our Patreon today. It also helps to support the cast. The cast will be doing some fun projects with that, as well as the side adventure that Cal and Sam had. That will be coming to Patreon exclusive first, and then everybody else will be getting it probably January of next year. So with that too, our Patreon was also able to hear about, the special thing that's happening next week. Where's my little thing? Oh, hang on. We have a guest that's joining us next week, by the way, y'all. Do you want to know who it is? Should we tell them? Maybe?
No.
No? Okay. All right, we'll just move along then.
I mean, you could
They
know
gotta earn it.
if you sub to the Patreon.
Well, if you
That's how you earn it.
ABH always be hustling.
If you sub to the Patreon, you will know a week in advance. But you know what?
Fluffy said the same thing. Thank you, Fluffy.
I mean, should we? I feel it. You know what? I'll save it for the end. We'll have that come on.
We can give him a hint.
He's everybody loves them.
Everybody loves him.
That's the hint.
Yes.
Who do you love? They're going to be here next week.
Yep, they're gonna be
That's
here
not
next
who
week.
you see, and you should love them.
I think that'll work, and then we'll see where we're at the end of the episode today. Wow, we're in a diabolical mood today, y'all. So
Buy and Finn some time. Just buy and Finn time.
buy and Finn a little bit of time. But
It's the vamping for me.
Without further ado, as I'm quickly trying to get to my starting music, let's dive into... That's not what I say. Let's go into the veil of Ampistrano.
Let's dive into the mists. Oh, it's Curse of Strahd now.
Yep, I mean...
Wrong game.
Surprise!
Or the right...
Fluffy, hurry, we need you.
Yeah, Fluffy, get in here.
All right, so our adventures continued with a little rest and relaxation as Cal, Theodora, and Blackstone went to the festival. Cal befriended a new familiar, a raven named Kyra, and played the story hook game. got a little bit of knowledge about a community known as Felk that was around during the time before the rupture and seemed to fade into nothing. Bit of an interest for him easily piqued. Let's see. Cal also was able to divulge to Deodore and Blackstone that he had gotten some interesting intel on Grenowitch and Pettyweather. A rivalry, friendship, maybe more? Cal wasn't exactly sure. What they were sure about was the decision that they were going to make in regards to Grenowitch's, well, job offer. A heist was to be taking place the next day to retrieve the wooden statue of 2 lions, the prize for Grenowitch's client, as well as Sam, the Halfling Wizard, gave Cal a bit of a call before bed to ask if, hey, they'd be interested in meeting for a little bit of a date to hang out with the group and watch the ceremony happen. We ended our session there. We begin our session with Blackstone. You are the first one to kind of feel this as you're coming back online out of your stasis. The inn, which seems to have some kind of magic around it that has been honestly keeping the majority of the rowdy noises out from your kind of slumber area. Every so often it shakes slightly. You can see as your kind of eyes are opening, or just focusing rather, you can see the reflections of light bursts on the floor as there's loud explosions and laughter outside. Still very muffled. It's kind of like if you were to, put your hands over your ears or kind of wear earplugs at a concert. Muffled, but still very much presence. Cal is still kind of in his little cave bed, passed out asleep for the moment. And that's where we are kind of starting. So what would you like to do? You would be, I imagine, the first one up.
Is there a window or wait? Yeah, we can see outside. Do I see where what's making everything shake?
Yep. So your bed is here and Cal's is across, and then to the right against that wall it kind of curves in a little bit, and there's a large window that is there. You can see kind of smatterings of small lights moving through the streets. It's a bright sunny day. But there are these kind of miniature fireworks of explosions and magic. You can see the window across from you on the opposite side of the street is open, and you see a couple kids are hanging out watching the festivities kind of happening. Everybody already you're picking up is in a very joyful kind of mood as you're kind of acclimating. It's about, I would say in terms of time, about 9 in the morning. They got started early.
How long has it been since everybody's gone to bed? Would everybody have had enough time to sleep properly?
Yes, you would have all had a long rest at this point.
Okay, so I am going to go and wake up everybody's familiars by taking them out of their respective bags.
Okay.
And then I am going to leave them to their devices.
Okay.
I should say Sparky was already taken out of his little bag, and Deodore is cuddling with him, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once we went to sleep, Ori just let it open.
Then probably...
If that's the case, if I don't have to take your animals out of the bags, I'm just going to wake up your animals. I'm not going to wake up the people they belong to, just your animals.
Well, Kyra was left in the bag, so I imagine you're actually taking Kyra out. She had been nestled asleep, and as soon as you kind of bring her out of the bag, she kind of sleepily flaps her wings, spreading out, and you see now the full view of her. She's largely black, but in the kind of viewpoint of the light, it shifts to blues and purples. What's more interesting is the feathers that are specifically tied to her wings, specifically. They, as soon as a little bit of sun hits, it's like there's almost a mirror in the room, as there's just a kaleidoscope of reds, oranges, yellows, greens that kind of just burst forth from her feathers as she kind of spreads. And it's just kind of for a moment makes you think in our world today like we'd be at a club and there's all of a sudden just these effects that are happening on the wall, but it's just her stretching her wings fully out and then bringing them back in. And she kind of just looks up at you expectantly, quizzically, because she has not seen any of you yet. She's been passed out asleep since yesterday. So she kind of just looks up at you.
I just offer my finger as a perch.
Okay, why don't you do animal handling to see?
That's an 11.
Okay. She ends up kind of poking your finger for a hot second, thinking you're giving her food, then realizes as hitting kind of a stone instead of flesh, she kind of just looks at you quizzically and then pops up on your finger as a little perch. I'm getting Mary Poppins vibes right now.
You know something? I think I'll just like whistle something. I'm not actually going to whistle into this microphone, but we're just gonna walk around whistling things.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure like Cal is the last person that I wake up and just wait for everybody's familiars to wake stuff up. And then when if I don't see them doing things, I am going to like, where is everybody sleeping at the moment?
So the suite was basically you come in, the kitchen and all that was on like the left-hand side. There's a table.
And there were branching rooms off to the side of those.
Yes, there was one room that was off to the side. Yours was on the left. Then Diodora and Oria were off on the right. So those were the only two rooms that were currently being used. There was a single, but Sereth was using that, but Sereth kind of left. So it's really, y'all have just been using those two rooms for right now.
I'm pretty sure everybody's familiars, at least, like animals have way sharper senses than other people do. And they probably would have heard all of this stuff like happening by now. For sure.
And I'll say this, you were starting to hear a little bit of yipping from Diodora and Oria's room as Sparky is becoming a little bit more awake, is hearing movement, may or may not have to go outside to use the facilities, but also food, as well as Oria's little displacer beast is starting to kind of stretch. I forgot you have it. It's starting to kind of stretch. You see like the kind of tentacles swearing up behind it, almost looking like wings. And then kind of just settling in a pose and honestly just looking at Oria very unimpressed. Just how cats do kind of thing. Just like, all right, food time, right?
I do think that, like, given, like, Sparky yipping and also just the noise outside would have, Diodora would have woken up at that. Just because it's a, like, disturbance in her environment. So she's probably, like, awake and, like, maybe as Blackstone is coming out of their room, Diodora comes out of her room with Sparky at her heels.
Sure. And you just...
good morning.
Greetings and salutations. I believe they have decided to start the festivities a little bit early today.
Oh, is that what that noise is?
There are a whole bunch of excited children and adults outside. I think it is, in fact, well, that.
City's very noisy. That's like her only observation.
Is this your first festival?
It's my first festival in a place like this. Like, we have festivals with my tribe, but it's not like this.
One day, I would like to see one of those.
Yeah, we can go.
When do you have festivals?
Kind of around the same time as like this one, you know, whenever the seasons change, we have festivals. Also, you know, and some of our citizens, you know, are religious, and so we'll have ceremonies for that as well if they wanted to, like, you know, to we might not all worship the same thing, but we help them celebrate.
Very interesting. Also very helpful.
How so?
Well, how do I say this? With what we've seen so far in the last couple of days, running into people who are specifically cooperative with other people is nice.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just used to it. You have to help each other to survive. Seems strange that other people wouldn't do that.
It certainly seems more efficient than, well, for example, mailing people wands that might kill them.
Yes. Which, yeah, I don't really understand the point of that. Save to start war, but even then, like, to what purpose?
It seems very specifically unhelpful. At this point, do I notice that her dog really needs to go to the bathroom?
Well, I honestly assume we were walking and talking. Sorry.
Oh, that's also fine.
We could have it so y'all were kind of walking downstairs as this was kind of happening. Immediately picking up the loud kind of music that is playing. Let me move this over. As this is happening, but yes.
Also, what do creatures like this one feed on?
Which creature is Blackstone referring to?
I'm referring to... I don't believe that this is its adult form, but I don't know if they're referred to as puppies?
Oh. I would refer to Sparky as a pup.
Oh, okay. Well, then, what does Sparky eat?
Well, I mean, meat mostly, but, you know, some berries, you know, some greens. Many things, really. Kind of depends on what's around at the time. At least that's how it is for my tribe. But we are mostly carnivorous.
I'm sure we should have some of that around here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could just maybe get him something inside.
How much noise is everyone making outside right now?
It's getting a lot louder now that you've left the sleeping quarters. You're picking up the sounds of the tavern below, as you all are kind of slowly making your way down the stairs. It's picking up quite a bit. This is probably the loudest you've heard it in the last couple days that you've been staying here. It's not nearly as loud as outside. Outside, think of like game day for whatever sports teams that you may follow. Just very loud, not as in like super rowdy and belligerent, just super excited for the day.
I think as we get closer to like the noise, not specifically like in the tavern, but more so like as we make our way outside, with all like the noise and stuff, and like you mentioned there was like popping noises and whatnot. I think Theodora's hackles are immediately raised. She does not like that. Just like any dog with any like loud popping noise, like no. absolutely not. Like, and I think at like she'll probably pick Sparky up too, just so he's not underfoot, and also so he has like, you know, so he's comforted as they make their way outside. And then maybe try to find like an area that's not like doesn't have a lot of traffic for him to do his business and stuff before like shepherding him back inside.
You walk out of the tavern itself. There's kind of like this archway that separates the tavern from the main road. You know to kind of go through that archway and to the left, and there's this large kind of fence, metal fence that is enclosing a little bit of greenery. You know that this is kind of like the little mini yard that Brooke has for their two children that kind of run around. So you could easily, it's not super large. I would say it's probably like 20 by 20. But it's a pretty good area if you wanted to walk Sparky around a little bit, kind of take everything in. It's not super crowded either. It's a little bit quieter in this area because most people are on the main road. You know, this is also the area that feeds back into the stable, so they try to keep it a little bit quieter for the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still like letting Sparky do his thing, but also just like very much on guard at this point because it's like there's so much happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like sensory overload
For sure.
for her almost immediately.
It's a lot of senses, different scents coming in, a lot of different sights, sounds. It's a lot. And you can see Sparky is also somewhat like inundated. He's went from like super quiet to all of a sudden it's like turning your headphones up all the way. It's just a lot of noise and different smells. You see immediately Sparky is just on the scent and keeps walking around a couple different trees. It's doing that thing that like dogs do of like, oh, it looks like they're gonna go. No, they're not gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no. My God. Please
okay,
don't get me started. My dog does this all the time.
So do both of you look visibly distressed at the moment?
I would say yes. I would say like almost similar to like how she was a little stressed out when Oreo was like incapacitated. It's kind of like that where like you can tell her hackles are raised a bit and like her claws are maybe starting to elongate a bit, just like sort of just on edge because of all the noise happening around her.
Are you okay?
It's just a lot.
Is there any way that I could help?
Can you make everyone quiet?
Processing. I have an idea. I'm gonna go into the tavern and I'm going to ask for like bits of wax for my candle.
Okay. Sonny, who's been kind of busy roaming about as he's kind of fixing the food, but also very much handling two kids that are sitting on his shoulders and just kind of like, no, come this way, no, come this way, as he's trying to just get some work done. He gives you a look, but motions towards the back end of the tavern where they hold a lot of the candles, and you can easily... Are you looking for a specific number or?
Like maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
When I do get them though, I look in. Well, how many are there back there?
There's a ton. There's a lot. You can easily see that they have. They're one of those people that when they're picking up items, they buy in bulk. So there's a number of them.
So I'm going to pick up 2.
Okay.
And here's what I would like to do. I would like to cut slices off of one of them.
Okay.
And shape them into like a couple of small, like nearly conical things, and put a small hole all the way through the center of the cone.
Okay. Why don't you roll? Because you're doing something like this, why don't you roll like a simple sleight of hand, because you're kind of dealing with something that's very delicate and intricate.
Can I use my proficiency with tinkering tools?
Yes, you can. I will allow that.
Okay, how do I do that?
So you should be able to roll, and there should be a proficiency bonus that you'll be able to add as well as the regular score to it.
Okay, a proficiency bonus on top. Well, see the thing. Oh my god, how do these things work when you use these tools? Because they give you no instructions. It's just
you just add your proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm. So you'll just roll.
So your roll.
This is like a D20 plus proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't get too many of those, so that was a good question.
Okay. I wish this were based on a stat of some kind, but here we are.
Right.
That is a 12.
Okay. It's a little tricky. You're used to tinkering with similar items, but not quite as delicate as candle and candle wax. So the first kind of attempt doesn't look as great as you meant it to. You think it'll get the job done, but that's something that you make a note of, like, maybe I'll work on this for later. But you're able to do it, just it doesn't look probably as nice as you were planning on doing.
Okay. I try to make 4 of these.
Okay.
And I take these back outside to Deodora, and I go, hopefully these will help a bit. The hole here that I put in the middle should let you hear some sounds from outside, but not quite as many. And I just hand you 2 of them.
Okay. She kind of looks at them a little bit and then like...
Oh, sorry. You need to put them in your ears.
Yeah. Well, she'll like slowly put them in her ears, her little wax loopers, because that's basically what you just made, those little little loops that you put in your ears. She'll put them in and like sort of test it just to see like what's happening. And like, I think she like immediately you see relief on her face.
It's not blocking out the noise completely, but it is giving you a nice little cushion, so you're not picking up absolutely every explosion or thing going off.
Yeah. Oh, Blackstone. This is amazing.
It's science.
Sure. Is that like magic?
At a certain point, it can be.
Okay. Accepts it. Like, I don't know enough about this to argue with it.
I made extras for Sparky if you think it would help.
Oh, thank you. I think she'll like carefully put them in Sparky's ears, since like dog's ears are a little bit more delicate, and she doesn't want to like harm like his ear canals or whatever. But she'll like, she's been around pups before, so she like.
I'm not
knows.
gonna make
she'll,
you roll for it.
Yeah.
This is also making sure you're not hurting an animal. So we're gonna say, for the sake of brevity, you are familiar enough. You know, especially having had pups around your tribe and working with them before, kind of what sits the most comfortably for their ears and stuff like that. So yeah, you're able to do that without a problem.
Yay.
And you just see him immediately relax. And he relaxes so much, he does finally do his business. So, which is a little bit of relief.
Yeah. Sometimes you get too stressed out, you can't go.
Hey, listen. But yeah, the world has kind of focused into a little bit more of a point, and it's not so overwhelming.
Oh, this is amazing. How come nobody's thought of these before?
It would be unusual if someone hadn't. But, I have to wonder if they had these during the festival. I didn't see any. I think this is what some people might consider a business opportunity. I do not know if I will be here long enough to pursue it.
Well, I'm sure there are other festivals in other places.
That's true. And these aren't difficult to make. Also, I got materials for free, and I just pull out like 3 candles.
Oh, you're I as a player just forgot the word that I was trying to think of. You're very resourceful.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I suppose. Oh, also, I don't know if you can hear me as well right now, so we can use our inside voices.
Oh. Theodora starts whispering. like this?
Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, so,
Oh,
there we go.
oh.
I mean like this. Right, this might be easier for you to talk to me without it being overwhelming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I say out loud.
I suppose now that I think about it and I look at the bird on my finger, do you also have to, I don't know, whatever is happening out here with Sparky, do you also have to do these things?
Oh my god.
You're just moving and Kyra's just like just going with your finger. You see Kyra after a moment kind of flutters off to the tree that Sparky was kind of circling. Sits there for a little bit. Kind of picks at a worm that has been slowly crawling up the tree. And then just kind of flies back over. Doesn't answer.
Well, I hope that helped. Oh, we should go and wake up Cal and Ori at some point.
Oh, yeah. I also left Oria's little cat behind. Maybe we should have brought them out too. Though, maybe not.
Well, we can try to get some, oh, right, inside voices. We can try to get some food for Sparky, and then we can see what Cal and Ori are up to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, Oria doesn't like to be woken up. At least not without a peace offering.
What kind of peace offering do you use?
Usually some kind of pastry that she likes, or some kind of just, huevos rancheros. Just breakfast.
That second food sounded interesting. Is that elvish food?
No. Elves just eat.
Somebody say pastry.
You hear Oria popping out of the window up above.
Did someone say huevos rancheros? I heard breakfast.
You see? I just point out like my point has been made.
I'll be down in a few minutes.
I didn't want to shout. I've learned that loud noises are somewhat disturbing for your friend here, but are you coming downstairs soon?
You hear that in your head, Oria.
Yeah, I'll be right down.
I love that Theodora and Oreo are just like, let's just talk out loud, even though we could absolutely talk in our head.
I want to kind of scan the landscape to see if there are things like meat or berries or things that are nearby to go and get for Sparky.
There's not really in the yard, at least, a lot of berries or anything like that. It looks like they do some kind of maintenance to keep the yard pretty clean. But you know for a fact there's a ton of food and stuff in the tavern itself.
What would Cal do in this moment? Probably make a map of the local woods, go into the local woods, hunt for several things, probably kill several small animals, and try to figure out a way to cook them.
Oh, do you need a map? I can't read, but I'm great at maps.
I think Oria comes around the corner eating just a handful of bacon.
But right, we're next to a big building with a lot of food. I do keep forgetting about this. We should go and do that.
I love that this has been pointed out to Blackstone a couple times now.
I like toss a piece of bacon to the displacer kitten that's like phasing back and forth in front of me as we walk.
Oh my god, I think when your little displacer kitten like starts phasing, Sparky sees that and just starts blinking around like to play.
Toss a piece of bacon. I'm like, may I?
Yeah.
I just throw it up in the air to see if he blinks to get it.
He blinks up and then blinks back down to the ground.
You just hear really
This is my new favorite game of all time.
Yep, you're able.
So what are we up to?
I'm not sure. I think we need Cal if we're gonna do.
Oh, I heard
that thing.
I heard him arguing with himself, I believe, again. He was doing something in the room. There were noises and curses of getting ready, I think.
Oh, well, I know that we have, I believe Cal would say trouble or chaos or something like this to plan, but honestly, I feel like it's just efficient.
Well, so we have that, and then, I don't think we don't know about the date thing yet.
No.
So, but also we were gonna go to that, the Jester's Lament.
The Jester's Trick. We were gonna go to the Stevie Bar and go find.
You were close,
the
honestly. Fair. I really like that name too. I mean, it could be called that too, but I do like it. The Jester's Trick works too.
The front of the bar is the Jester's Trick. The secret behind the bookshelf bar is the Jester's Lament.
I like that. That's canon, actually, now.
How did you know its secret name already?
George told me.
Oh, okay. So should we feed all of our friends? And don't we have something to go steal? Things to go do?
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said we should wait for Cal.
Oh, yes, that's true. We need to wait for Cal, maybe.
I've learned we shouldn't say those things out loud in front of other people.
This is why I use my inside voice.
But we don't all have an inside voice.
Blackstone, can you actually roll a perception
I can
check
whisper.
Wait a minute, I have a passive perception of 18.
I know.
Is this something I need to actively look for?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The perception check is a 22.
Okay. For like a moment, there's kind of that awkward decrescendo as the song is ending, as kind of Oreo is making that, oh, isn't there something we need to steal kind of thing. And you do see several people that were walking by the gate kind of do quickly learn, like, look in your direction. And then just kind of continue on. Blackstone specifically, since you rolled a 22. You also, you're not exactly sure where, if it's coming from the stables, if it's coming from outside of the yarded area that you're in, or if it's from the inn itself or otherwise. Somebody is definitely watching you at this moment. Where exactly they're at, you're unsure about, but you're pretty sure someone has kind of been keeping an eye on you.
Okay. I have a couple of options here.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to use that option.
Okay.
But, okay, well, it seems that using our inside voice is very important because someone is watching us at this moment. I do not know exactly where they are. So, if you are going to look around, I suppose, try not to be very obvious about it.
Okay, I'll try. I think. Yeah, Theodora will start sort of roaming, like, and try to pretend like she's playing with Sparky. But like sort of like, you know, go towards the stables, take a look there, just sort of and maybe even using Sparky, because I think Sparky has like advantage on these kinds of checks to like see if she can like suss out who might be watching or listening.
Sure. If you want
I'm going to look for reflections in windows.
Okay. So why don't the both of you roll investigation in this case? Theodora, you have advantage because Sparky is going to be assisting you.
I got a 19 on both die.
Ooh.
And that's just a 19 because I don't add anything to that.
Okay.
I have a 16 for investigation.
16. Okay. And you're looking, when you say looking for reflections in the windows and stuff like that, are you looking specifically around the tavern itself?
So, like, in the area that we're in, if, like, we're, like, it's one of those, I'm looking for either, like, things where, like, I see people in windows or I see the reflection of people looking at us in windows.
Sure. So you do see, like, reflections in windows, but more often than not, it's someone that's walking by. What does catch your attention is you're kind of maybe backing up a little bit more. There behind the tree is this stone carved like bird bath, essentially, like this basin that has a little bit of water in it. And as you approach, you do see that there is a ripple. There's no birds in that area. Occasionally a leaf is falling from the tree above it, but there is a ripple. And with that investigation, you do feel that some kind of magical connection that was just there was probably severed. So this was most likely, if someone were to be watching you, where they were watching you from.
Before I do this, right, can I, like, is it one of those, this is really obvious that this is scrying magic, or can I roll an arcana to figure out what kind of magic that was?
You can roll an arcana.
Okay. That is a 14.
It is not a scrying magic. It is a magic that you have come across. You have not personally done it yourself, but in your time of working for several sailors and captains and in those kind of areas, you know, every once in a while they're able to kind of make any kind of water that's around them into kind of a seeing glass, so that way communication can come through. That's the kind of magic that you're picking up. It's familiar in that sense. This was just something that was a one-way versus two-way communication.
Now, like, right, do I have any frame of reference for what kind of person would do that or why? Or is it just one of those, someone was just watching over here and that's all we know right now?
Well, there's, considering what you've been through, and we've had a few weeks. You had the incident with the cart, with the gem. You had the incident with, hey, you went to Astera to warn the situation about it. You went underneath the city. There was a large crystal down there with several minotaurs that were trying to charm different things. So it could be related to that, but also, Blackstone, you've been trying to keep a low-key cover. you're not exactly sure, but there's a couple different possibilities to use Cal's kind of linguistics in regards to that. He would have several theories that could be of possibility, but would need evidentiary support in order to kind of narrow down. Oh, you muted.
It looks like whatever we were being watched by was somewhat magical in nature and came from this tub of water. It's gone now, though, but I have to wonder what they were looking for.
Or what they were listening for. Did I get the same stuff on my 19? Okay.
You did, yeah. I was speaking more towards Blackstone just because he was approaching, or they were approaching it rather from a magical sense. You got the scent of magic, but unfamiliar. And with that, we'll take our break because I believe Cal is finally here. So we'll take a couple minutes to get settled up and get Cal situated. And we'll be back, y'all. So hang on tight.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Malachor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
And welcome back. Sorry, we really love to talk to each other. It's I'm not going to say it's a problem because this is something I'm here for. But we have our lovable, amazing little dragon-born, wow, wizard. Words are hard, y'all.
There we
go.
Oh, hi, I exist. You're dragon nerd.
Little dragon nerd. And we are going to get back on into the episode. So, where we left off, there was a little bit of searching that was happening outside of the Rivers Inn, as Blackstone, Deodora, as well as Sparky are doing some investigation. They were able to pinpoint that while this conversation was happening about their plans for the day, someone may or may not have been listening in on their conversation. Now, what or who that is yet to be seen, but they were using the bird bath, it looks like, as their form of connection, and that has sputtered out over the last couple of minutes.
I think we should get Cal to look.
You kind of hear Cal like, but she was right here.
Ah!
She was right here.
Who was? What? Where did you come from? You were just yelling in the room.
Kyra, she was right on the bedside table. Now wake up and...
I just look at Deodora for a second.
What? What?
Oh.
I didn't do anything.
Rory, you see, I was hoping to be awake for her. And as he like walks over to Blackstone, he's holding out his hands, just be like, oh, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kyra. I don't try not to sleep in so late like this when we're meeting new friends, but it has been a week. So look at you.
Why don't you do an animal handling? And I'm going to say this. Disadvantage, because the first thing that Kyra saw when she awoke was Blackstone, not you.
Oh
no! So...
Aww.
I missed the imprinting.
You missed the imprinting that happened.
Jordan, this is illegal.
Keep it.
It is what it is.
No. What'd you roll?
I haven't rolled. I'm just very scared of my roll.
Can we give Cal advantage? Because I'm just like, hey, Kyra, this
you
is your dad.
Hang on 1 second, too. Cal has 2 familiars. Really? Y'all are...
No, okay.
Sense.
Cal, I don't know if Drix counts as a familiar,
too.
but in case Drix counts as a familiar, there is no, like, at least it'd be nice if one of the familiars had some kind of, like, cooperative bond, because I feel like Cal argues with Drix more than anything. But both of those were 15s. And my animal handling is a straight 0, so 15.
Okay, not bad. You see for a moment as Kyra is just kind of perched on Blackstone's finger, kind of looks up at Blackstone, then looks over to you, then looks up at Blackstone, then looks over to you, and then eventually...
You're not my dad.
just kind of takes off, and this is when you see Kyra in her full element with her wings just kind of outstretching. She is largely black all over with hues of purple and blue in the light. But what really is interesting about her is her feathers, specifically attached to her wings. Because as the sunlight hits those the wing feathers rather, it just starts refracting rainbows all around her as she's kind of flying over to you and then eventually settles. She gives you a little peck as she kind of settles down, but she sits.
Yeah, Cal had his hands cupped there, so if she's like landing on him, she's just kind of pecking his head. Well, aren't you a right beauty? What? Where do they make you? And he just starts turning her left and right and, oh, hello, dearie. I'm Cal. And I hope we can be friends. But that's entirely up to you, dear. And he just kind of, Cal brings his snout, like, where it's, like, level with Kyra's beak. And he's just, like, gonna, like, Just do the be my friend big eyes at her.
Do the little be my friend boop. She'll kind of look up at you. Her head swivels from side to side. I'm trying to not do it because I'm realizing more and more I should not do that with my neck right now. So her head kind of swivels from side to side, kind of looking at you, slightly confused, but eventually she does kind of just give you a little nip right on, like, where your mouth is. So it's a little love nip.
I love it.
This is the cutest interaction.
All right, dear. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. I'll take that as a good yes.
She'll kind of hop onto your shoulder.
I was just about to say, I don't know how you'll be comfortable. Could I just...
She'll literally just hop onto your shoulder.
Oh, that's nice. And the cow's like kind of walking around with that, like the person who's the first time they've had a bird on their shoulder and they don't want to be off balance. So he's just, all right. Oh, do you see? Do you see her?
I do.
See, if you relaxed a little, it'd be much better for both of you, I think.
Relaxing.
If you just shoulder too far.
The movement, Blackstone, you pick up on it too, because yes, you are searching. You see immediately there's just a little spot of white that just appears on Cal's robe. As he's just suddenly moving, she's just kind of like has her wings up to try to keep balance, but...
You may want to prestidigitate that.
Oh, prestidigit. Oh dear. Oh no. I don't think I took that character. In fact, no, I know I didn't take that character.
Oh no.
And so he's like, oh well then, you know what? There's solutions for this. And then he just like kind of like just takes a scrap of parchment, like he reaches down for his bag, still doing this. Am I relaxed enough? Is this relaxed? Is this how relaxed looks?
Just chilled.
And we'll just kind of do like a little scrape, and that's all right, dear. That's all right. We all have to do it. We all have to go. And waste paper bin?
Now that I think about it, what does relaxed look like on Cal? I don't know that Cal is relaxed very often.
Oh, well then we need to go get more supplies from the party and we'll figure that out.
Before we go drink or whatever, or I'm assuming Ori wants to go drink.
Yes.
There is somebody here using magic to spy on us.
Oh, what? There's what?
Like by the bird bath. Could you?
Someone by the bird bath, and
you're good at magic.
Cal looks. Is it like a? Is there anything by the bird bath that's visible offhand before casting something?
No.
Literally me. I'm the only person.
Yeah, Blackstone, and there's a large tree that's kind of, its branches are overhanging this stone bird bath that is about like 2 to 3 feet, very intricately kind of carved into it. It's got a fair amount of water in it as well. You're imagining that probably Brooke or Sonny keep it pretty filled for the birds and critters that live in this little kind of yard by the tavern. But no, there's nothing that's besides Blackstone just standing right there. I will say this just because you're a magic user as well. You would have picked up the kind of feeling of magic kind of slowly sizzling out in that area.
Oh, so like he kind of senses it's gone.
This is the dregs are what is currently remaining.
He's gonna do it anyways. He's gonna cast detect magic real fast, and so Cal will just kind of grab his staff and touch the ground, Bradreos, and you'll see the ribbons shoot out from the end of his staff and do the same thing that they did before when he cast detect magic. They'll settle down, and he's kind of trying to see the shapes in the rain deal of what magic got left behind by this.
You would know, for your kind of history as well, you've seen it used around the schools at Jorks, oftentimes when a lot of the faculty is meeting, or, even sometimes at home when some of your family members are communicating when they're on the road. they can use water as a means of a kind of seeing sphere to communicate. Basically it's like Zoom but in the water kind of thing. They're able to have that. Usually it's a two-way communication. Looks like in this case they were just kind of listening in on and seeing, you know, who it was that was speaking and what y'all were doing. How much was heard, it's unsure, but the magic, somebody was spying at some point.
Well, then Cal will kind of process all that, you know, do the mental poking and prodding of how much he could figure out. We've been scryed on, friends. It's
not, I will say this because Blackstone did ask that question. It's not.
Oh, okay, got it. Missed that one. And misinterpreted the description, apparently.
It is not quite scrying, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
I'm using my inside voice in case they have found other means to listen.
Oh, the Cal will say back telepathically to Blackstone. Oh, right. So just some eavesdropping then. I couldn't detect an identity behind it or pinpoint who it might have been. Could you pick something up before it dissipated?
No. It disappeared shortly after I noticed its presence altogether.
Of course. Okay. All right, that's not concerning at all. But you think we should probably vacate the room before we start talking aloud then?
Vacate what room? We're outside.
Oh, we are out. I'm gonna just go ahead and...
I was a little flustered about the incoming heist and the date.
The whole incoming message and the... Yes, the whole incoming message is still got Cal kind of flustered.
Oh,
He's doing that, what did I do last night, run through in his head. And he is remembering what he did.
Theodora and Ori in the background just playing with our familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing bacon up in the air, seeing who can catch it the highest. They're doing that weird brain head talk again, aren't they?
One more thing. Cal, if you do not mind. You seem a little bit more distressed after waking than usual. And you slept a little bit longer than you normally do. Are you okay? Is something weighing on your mind?
Well, as you know, there's a bit of burglary to be done today, and then there's also waking up and Kyra being gone and Drix not waking me up at all to let me know, and then, well, there's also the matter of I happened to promise Sam that we'd meet him at the end of the day. He wanted to meet us all at the tea shop, and it would appear just to enjoy festivities at the festival together, the opening ceremonies. And well, of course, I don't want to seem suspicious, so I didn't want to tell him we had any plans, just in case the aforementioned burglary took longer than we had thought. So I went ahead and promised that we'd be there because I didn't want to let him down, because I do want him to think that I still like him and that he's cool and good with us. But I also don't want him to think or to know that we're stealing from his boss.
Oh, well, one of my plans included explaining that to him, so there's that. But,
How are you going to...
Hey, Theodora, did you ever notice when they get really into talking in their heads that Cal just waves his arms
he gesticulates a lot. Yeah,
should we be worried yet?
He looks a lot more stressed out than he normally looks, which is a lot.
Where, like, as a normal person would, like, or like a normal person, that sounds weird, like a humanoid would, well, they're all humanoids. Whereas a human nose haver would, like, rub the bridge of their nose. I'm trying to be very sensitive to Dragonborns right now. And so he, like, whereas a human nose haver would rub the bridge of their nose, Cal is, like, massaging the length of his snout right now with his, he's just like, okay. So much nervous.
He's doing what again now? He's what?
Massaging the length of his snout.
Okay, cool. Just
There
wanted
you
to
go.
say that one more
like
time.
this, just like
April,
this.
please.
Just, like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I also imagine like as he's doing this, just like because he's a gem dragonborn, I like just sort of like a little bit of his breath weapon comes out, and it's like sort of like crystallized.
Oh,
like,
you don't want his
huffing.
breath weapon to come out. His breath weapon's not the same as that.
Oh, interesting. Now
wait a minute.
That's an interesting thing to say after you made this gesture. For
You might. Okay.
What's that breath weapon do?
Like, I'm sitting
breath
here
weapon.
just like I'm sitting here just like inspecting Cal's whole body language and trying to put this in frame. Cal seems to be very distressed about all of these things, but especially at this moment, unlike our last conversation, things involving Sam. So, right? Just like oh, Cal, wait, Sam, do you mean the person who came with you when you first arrived to this town?
Oh, aye, that'd be the one. Wee Sam. The young man that was walking with me to the town when we met, or when we met again.
Oh, I suppose they have missed your company.
Well, he did say so, yeah. I suppose he, I feel like he got a little bit more of a kick out of breaking the rules than I tend to do.
This seems reasonable. We seem to have run into a great deal of people lately that enjoy breaking the rules just a little bit.
Oh, not to your level. No, he'd be... If you're a professional, he's strictly amateur.
I mean, I don't know. You both managed to successfully steal things from the restricted section of a library.
I'm thinking Sam is very lucky. The young man just seems like the one that just can dodge disaster like a champion.
Oh, is he a halfling, perhaps?
I would think so, yeah. I know that, but I haven't heard Sam say halfling out loud, so I don't want to identify him until he identifies himself.
Well, like, the thing is, like, me, right,
Saw
is
your
just
face,
one of
Jordan.
those, these are just, like, on the catalog of things that I know about humanoid beings. That's why I asked this question.
Yeah, and that does like tip Cal's mind a little more. That oh, you're right. He is. I believe he might be a halfling. It seems that way, at least. Cal is not.
Turns out to be a really thick gnome.
Right, because like Cal's not gonna body shame and just assume
necrotic damage I'm taking.
it's not gonna.
now.
Hey, I'm not gonna be that one guy that says, "Really, you don't look halfling."
So did you want to spend time with Sam today?
Oh, well, of course I would. That's, most things sound more fun to me than potentially disastrous breaking and entering. But, on the whole, even ransacking a library was actually not horrible with Sam. So, I don't want to bring him into our crimes. However, he is nice to have around. So perhaps we should get done with the burglary quickly then, so that we could meet up with him.
They've been mind talking for a really long time.
Should we just go in and get breakfast? I
Dear
think we
Dory.
should leave them alone. I think they're having a moment. I don't want to interrupt them. But
Then it's a
Cal keeps doing this,
and
and I don't understand it.
I say out loud. Okay, then it's a date.
What's a date? Do you have a date?
Oh, is it? What? No. Oh, no. It wouldn't be like.
Are you two having a date? That's quite lovely.
Oh no.
We have.
We can leave.
It's fine.
We have an appointment with friends, is what I meant to say. We have been asked to hang out with Sam. Do you remember the person that Cal came into town with a few days prior?
Oh, they were lovely. Are we gonna?
Oh, the little guy.
Yeah.
Do you have a date with him?
He's going. No, he's coming here to hang out with all of us, I think.
Oh. Well, that's not typically.
Cal,
but,
are
okay.
you? Cal, are you okay?
You guys hear, pending DM approval, this high-pitched squeal as Cal's like just kind of doing this weird in and out breathe thing going on. You kind of hear this.
I have to imagine that Cal sounds like a tea kettle and like steam is coming out of his mouth.
Yes,
Cal is looking a shade of magenta right now. That's what's happening.
And you are definitely hearing, as he is like rubbing his temples and like deep breathing, you're hearing that somewhere between a tea kettle and ringing in your ears kind of pitch is.
Oh God!
It should be.
Okay, hold
Cover
on.
the animals' ears.
All right.
Well, can I
sorry.
Can I roll an insight to figure out why Cal is doing this?
I mean, I'm not gonna even make you roll because I think with the fact that the conversation you were just having, like it.
No, I mean the thing is, I don't know. Like it's just one of those. Cal could be stressed about any amount of things. We have to do a lot of stressful things today.
Go ahead, go for it. And Cal, I guess either roll performance or deception depending upon what you're trying to do. Deception if you're trying to hide it. Performance if you're not really trying to hide it, but maybe you try to center it to a specific thing.
The bonus is the same either way. So okay. I'm going to say performance because I don't think he's really trying to hide anything right now.
Sure.
I will tell you that the insight on the die was an 8 and my passive is a 13.
Okay.
Well, my performance was an 18.
Okay.
So Cal, I guess, like snaps up real fast when he notices everyone like pick up on the ring in his ears and just kind of sits up straight. I think everyone's getting a little bit ahead of themselves, myself included, but you know, we can take a moment. We can breathe here. I don't think Sam is interested in a date at this time.
Oh, will he be interested later?
I don't know if that's...
So, is Sam heisting then?
Oh, Sam...
Are we seeing Sam sooner or later?
We have to use our inside voices for talking about crimes.
Oh, you're right. Inside for crime, outside for not crime.
But we don't have that.
Here, I can go. I will volunteer to be the conduit for that because that would be a problem.
Why don't we just go back inside the room where it's safe and no one can hear us?
I don't know if our rooms are soundproof.
I think it's a good idea to go into town now. And so Cal just like starts marching towards the school. Like it is his,
no.
I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. Let's start walking.
Sure.
No. Okay. No breakfast. Okay.
I pull out more like pocket bacon and a biscuit. There you go.
Cal.
Yes,
Cal, as an organic creature, don't you need sustenance before walking about and doing things?
Oh, do you want some bacon? I have some more. I like try to put bacon on Cal's shoulders.
All right. Oh, yeah, right. And like as you're doing that, like he breaks off, and just kind of like holds it up just to like see if. I mean, corvids are carnivores.
She had some worms earlier.
Yeah.
Right. So he's just gonna hold it up to see, like he's like still learning about this whole having a bird thing.
She'll take a couple bites.
Right. Okay. All right. And so he'll start munching on the bacon. Oh, thank you, Aurea. I do appreciate it
as well. But yes, she'll munch on it.
Every time you try to eat, it just takes the food.
This is what it's like to have pets.
Not wrong.
I mean,
100%.
And so, yeah, he'll just thank you. He'll like between giving Kyra little bites and like trying to munch himself. Cal's just got like this 1,000-yard stare because of the wrench that Blackstone just threw into his brain.
So, I lean over to Aurea. So is he stressed about Sam? I don't understand. Like,
I don't really. I don't know. I don't understand.
Is it a
that.
date, or maybe they just want to, mate?
I mean, I don't think most people talk about who they want to mate with in the streets, especially someone like Cal. They seem quite like that they would keep that to themselves. I don't know if Cal is a public mating talker.
Theodora's like looking like can't relate. like okay. Weird customs in the city.
The educated ones are always a little bit more stuck up.
Oh. Yeah,
well,
we saw those books.
All those books make you not okay. with the natural body, and I don't know how this spiraled this far, but I don't think Cal would talk about their love life.
Cal's not picking up on this conversation at all. All these reactions are just Finn.
Wait, shouldn't you all eat something first? I don't necessarily have to, but I know that all of you do.
Oh, I took a bunch of food when I ran out after you. As I opened like this little to-go bag I grabbed.
Oh, do any of you need earplugs?
Oh, yes, Blackstone made me these it doesn't work when Cal's making that noise, but it works for most of the other noises. Sparky has some too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very convenient. That's a good invention. We should sell those at the fair. The festival.
Yes.
We could make so much money. And help so many people with air sensitivities.
Mm-hmm.
Come away.
No. Run away.
Hey! I would suppose we're all headed towards Lyros because we were trying to scout out the heist before we got on to all of the busyness of the day, trying to do it when the college might not have been too hustly-bustly yet.
And you have something to trade me. At some point, you have knowledge I want.
Oh, that's right. And so Cal will actually pull out his spell book, and if he can be comparing notes with Blackstone as we walk, like his walkie-talkie will be as much of the spell as he can share with Blackstone on the walk. He's gonna be.
Oh, I just hand you a case.
A case? What's this then?
It's a scroll case.
Oh, that's right. We were gonna make scrolls for you, were we not? And so Cal, oh, of course. Well then, and then he just kind of does this weird drape over the arm as the only way you can write on a scroll while walking. He'll do this weird drape over the arm, and he'll have wave of his hand. He'll have his glass pen out, and Drix, could you help me then? Oh, Cal, how are you now? Very, very stressed, Drix. How are you now? It's been a rough morning, Drix. All right, I'm not so bad. Thanks for asking. Fair enough. Good stuff. All right, what do you need? And
Petty.
Cal, sorry, Drix. It's been a morning. Could you help me go over the finer points of the ethereal assistant that we found? And he goes, oh, you mean that invisible person thing? The invisible person thing, yes. And so as they walk, Drix is just kind of mumbling in Cal's ear, helping him dictate the scroll.
I just imagine Cal like writing the scroll out as he's walking, and every once in a while Blackstone or Deodore shift him slightly so he doesn't run into somebody, just navigating him through the crowds.
Yeah, there's for sure a lot of folks that are kind of moving in the opposite direction. So it's very much you both are kind of, I imagine, almost acting as almost guards to make sure that no one bumps into Cal while he's
It's a much less graceful It's Belle from the Beauty and the Beast opener.
I would like to feature a mechanic.
What was that, Sin?
I would like to feature a mechanic for this game.
Go for it.
I want to look for other people who look like they're kind of stressed out because of hearing sensitivities while we're walking, so I can hand them bits of wax.
Okay. Why don't you roll a perception check for me, please?
Okay, perception. That perception check is...
Can I help? Give you advantage?
Sure. How is Oria helping in this task?
Oria is loud, and so if anyone, so oh my god, walk this way. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yell. That person is sensitive.
Oria is that
17.
tour guide at a college that's like, and over here. What was that, Sin?
That's a 17.
17. You're not getting a lot of people in the general area as like being overwhelmed by a lot of the noise. Every now and then you do see someone that's maybe a little hungover from the night before is kind of inundated with all this noise. You pick up one or two folks that are kind of dealing with that struggle bus. So you're able to pick up that, but otherwise, no. There's not too many. Everybody else is pretty involved.
Okay, if there's anyone on our pathway who's like not like super far out or anything, I just give them like a pair of these and say, just put these in your ears.
Thanks. What do they do?
You'll see when you put them in there. They help with muffling noise.
You see this, and you're talking at this point to a dwarven man who's got like white, silvery, scraggly beard, and it's just kind of looking at you with a mixture of just like, what? Is one of those very hungover. And now a stranger has just given me an item and told me to put it in my ears and has not told me what it shall do. So it's just kind of watching you a little bit alarmed. And then we'll slowly put it in his ears after a couple. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. There are two of them, so you have one for each ear in case things get very loud.
Good to know. How much is it?
It isn't, and then I just leave.
The moral debate that happened inside just now, like...
I wish I had zoomed in on the black zone slowly.
Because there was all, you're okay, like, you're not really okay.
So it was very much a, wait, do I, like, what would the, like, should there be a number? If there were a number, what would the number even be? This is too much to think about right now. I should go. That's how that whole thing went.
My favorite is like, I couldn't tell. I'm like, is this Blackstone or which one is it Sin or Blackstone now? It goes back and forth.
I love too the very subtle Sin. You tilted your head to the left and to the right. I was like, oh, he's listening to both the devil and the angel right now. That's what's happening.
And then the void came out and said, "It's all fake, dude. It's just all fake. You don't even worry about it. It's all fake."
You know what's? You want to know what's very funny about this? Because you described like I've just handed this person this thing. It's also a person who, like a person wearing a mask with two glowing eyes, has handed me an item and said, "Please put this in your ear," with no context.
No context.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. It's like, okay, thanks. And he just kind of walks away very confusedly in the opposite direction as you all are heading towards Lyros. It does take you some time. Cal, it takes you you've noted, even longer just because the crowds are moving in the opposite direction. They're heading towards where the caravans are, and you're kind of all heading away from the caravans. So it does take you some time. Probably about after 45 minutes, you find yourself coming into viewpoint of the large towers. One of them is the bell tower that is just outside of Lyros proper. It is not the main school that is in Illipin, but it is one of the main ones. It is, in comparison to Astera could probably fit into the school about 13 times. It is a very large, kind of overwhelming at points just because of the grandeur that is here. There are a number of gates that kind of separate the actual school from the town itself. And you do see that several students are milling about. You see, I'll say this because I know Oria is keeping a lookout. Down the street, you can guess that this large building that has a what appears to be kind of a jester's hat on the outside of the building is, as Deodora has renamed it, the Jester's Lament, is probably the bar that that has been hinted at a couple of times already. Not too far from the campus, about a block or two away. So, and you can see that, yes, there is a gaggle of what probably is first years kind of in front of their, perhaps that is where they're pre-gaming before the actual event starts. You all are able to make your way through. There's not a lot of Crownsguard presence. A lot of them seem to have shifted. You note like one or two. Cal, you notice immediately there's definitely a diminished Crownsguard presence. Which, take that as you will, considering what you've learned over the last couple of days. So you're able to make your way through and eventually find yourselves right where we actually began our story, which was the little area where Cal was resting underneath the tree. Not too far from Pithyweather's office, as well as the library. The library is about down the hallway and to the left. If you were to go to Pithyweather, down the hallway, go to the right.
So then Cal will come to the spot, roll up the scroll that he was marking down the spell on. Did he have time to finish it, you think, or do you want me to roll for whether or not he finished the scroll?
I would say roll, just because there was a lot of things kind of happening.
Right. What do you want, an Arcana on this one then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh, that was a 7.
Okay. You got most of it. It is not your best handwriting.
Right.
It's kind of done the thing where it starts to go sideways. Yeah, down the scroll. Just trying to fit it all together. You think it'll do for now?
Right. Well, Cal will roll it up and say, well, I'm not sure it'd go off like this, quite unfinished. It could use some more touches, but, you know, if you want to hold on to it for emergencies, I'll finish it as soon as we get the chance there, Blackstone.
Oh, okay, thank you. I put this away, and then I go, now, the important thing for you is to put yourself within about 50 feet of the library before you use this spell, so that you can put your books back.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. And so he kind of looks to the direction that Pettyweather's office would be, looks to the direction that the library would be, and so the real question is...
I would like to assist Cal. The way that I would like to assist him is to help him, like to guide him by looking around at how people are moving, and then pick a moment where people aren't really paying attention for him to do his thing.
Sure. So why don't the both of you, and anyone that actually, I won't say specifically, but anybody, go ahead and roll perception. Taking in, you know, the sights, the sounds, the smells of what's happening in kind of this courtyard, which does seem to be kind of a gateway for not only the main exit from Lyros, but also to the library, to different professors' offices, classrooms, things like that.
Okay.
I got 21.
Oof.
11.
That is a 13 on the die.
Okay.
14 for Cal.
14. Okay. So with that combined, I'll say this.
I was thinking the same thing.
God damn it. With that all together, several students are still kind of milling about the grounds. You do hear, especially even down the hall, there is a little bit of that resounding echo as students are disappearing in and out of the library. Even on today, of all days, a festival day. Cal, you probably feel a slight kinship with those students for a half second. The area around Pithyweather's office is clearing out. You're, in terms of exploring that. There's not a lot of sounds or presence or scents in that area. Yeah, it's mostly cleared out. It's definitely not bustling like it was a few days ago for the start of the term.
Right, so is there a point geographically, as Cal's scoping this out, is there some point where he could stay within range to send the unseen servant to the library and still stay in view of Pettyweather's office?
So,
or is that kind of like a around the corner?
No, there's a way to do this. So you'll have to go to kind of the northwest corner of the courtyard.
Right.
The courtyard itself has kind of like these hallways that go around it.
So it's like a Roman proscenium kind of deal.
Yes, exactly. So you can kind of like stand in one of the windows that is kind of looking into the courtyard. That gives you a proper viewpoint of, if you stand here and look this way, you'll be able to see Pithyweather's office and the library. When you look down either corridor, you see that there is kind of a cutout right around the library where there's several kind of braziers lit, as well as like a bench that's seated there. It's not far from where you're standing. It's probably about 40 to 50 feet is the library itself.
Right. Okay, well, Cal will position himself right there, and then he'll say, "Oh, you know what? I didn't do a reading today. Silly me. It seems like something I would be doing. So just let me see how we're feeling today." And he gets out his own staves to throw the sticks again. But as he's doing it, he's kind of like arranging the sticks with one hand, and he's starting to cast the spell of Unseen Servant with his staff in his other hand. Okay. He's trying to, nothing going on here. I'm doing nothing.
Do you need a distraction?
Was I not doing well enough?
You're doing excellent, but do you want a bigger one?
Well, Aurea, I'm not sure if we want to do that yet, because that means you'll be on everyone's radar, and it's important that people not know we're here until we want them to know.
Well, I could make a little distraction. I could just make it smell bad over here so everyone goes that way.
Sparky steals one of the staves.
Continue. We'll just turn around and I'll just like, do. I'm not very good at whistling. Do.
So, to the question about like the small distraction about does it smell worse? Like Cal's gonna just look to Rory and like, what do you think? You're the heist master here. He'll say that in his head. He's like, say to Rory telepathically, "You're the one that knows about heists. So is that helpful?"
I do not possess the capabilities to change the smell of my environment, so I do not know. But
please,
most people are avoidant to bad smells, so possibly.
Theodora's looking at Aurea like, please don't make it smell. Some of us have really sensitive noses.
For you, I won't then.
Thank you.
And about that time, Cal's puts his attention back to muttering the end of the spell, and as he does, he says, "Well, I think it worked. It is unseen though, so be hard to." And then Cal will he'll say out loud, "Could you pick up that book then?" And all of a sudden, like a book just kind of floats, like one of the books in his stack just kind of floats in the air. All right, so it looks like it worked. So it looks like we do have an ethereal assistant then. So he looks to see like, are there any windows that have been left open into the library?
Nope. It's just two braziers and then the actual like large doors, which are currently open at this time.
Right.
But that's it. There's no windows to look into the library.
And Cal will go, all right, so it's these 5, and you're going to want to put them in section Alpha Q. and then he'll like set them right on the ground. And so, thank you, please. And then you see the books kind of start to. They don't stay in a stack. They kind of do like a weird Scooby-Doo ghost float up into the air. Oh, no. Could you keep them in stack? Keep them low, like low eye level, low eye line there. And then you see them kind of come back together. Right. All right. That'd be good. Thank you, friend. And they kind of like do a little like hoppy walk away in a stack of books.
Sure.
Like, all right. So let's just hope that doesn't end poorly. And then he says, but since I already did throw the stuffs, let's see. We have a fern, and we have a dar. Oh, look at that. And I swear I put 3 right here. I swear I pulled 3 out.
So Sparky just like kind of yips around the stage, just like trying to play.
Oh, friend. Excuse me, Popper. We're gonna not, and like he starts to reach, but as soon as like there's that baring of teeth and don't take my stick, he goes, all right, well then I'll let your mom handle that one then.
Sparky, drop it right now. Drop it.
That happens. Because it's been a couple of moments since your unseen servant sent the books into the library to head back towards the restricted section. There's a loud, resounding clamor of metal bending and breaking. And you hear from the library a few startled voices starting to yell. You can hear the librarian being like, okay, students, calm down. I don't know what's happening here. Seems like something is either trying to get into the restricted. Oh, God. Okay, let's get out of here. I need to. And you just hear this loud roar from the library proper as all of a sudden these students come flying out of the library, like, super quickly. You see this woman who is appears to be some kind of earth genasi with aspects of water in her, as well as her hair is just shifting water, which is moving erratically. She's wearing dark black robes and has her hands kind of halted out, kind of seems to be looking around for a crown's guard or something, as all of a sudden she's trying to usher all the students out of the library as quickly as she can, and then quickly try to close the library, as all of a sudden you see this metal hand, almost like a claw, come out of the library and just start raking across the floor. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Drop the books and go. Drop the books and go. Drop the books and go.
Oh, no.
I need everyone to roll initiative.
This would... I was going to say, this would be an ideal time for us to leave and go and do the thing that we're here to do.
I mean...
We will still roll initiative, because that's going to anticipate the rounds of either you battling this thing or you doing the other thing. It's going to be one of the other.
Okay.
So... Oof. Yeah, so I was rolling, and then I rolled. I was like, oh no.
17 for Deodora.
Okay.
That's going to be a 11 for Cal.
Okay.
8.
Blackstone?
7.
Okay. Alright, and we'll say for the sake of brevity, all of your familiars away into their safety spots for now, because we are not going to hurt animals. So they will foof away for now to come back later. The creatures up first. You see, again, this claw kind of dig out. The librarian is able to just kind of duck out of the way. As Cal, you would have the better look of it. It just looks like a wrought iron gate in terms of its claw itself. It's just kind of been bent together and is reaching out and kind of raking. You actually can hear, it's high-pitched. Deodora, you would hear this. It's kind of like scraping your nails across a chalkboard. That just loud metal as it's digging into the ground and stone below it as it rakes its hand. The librarian is just unable to get out of the way properly as its claw kind of rakes as well as crashes around and pulls the librarian in. You see a trail of blood as this librarian is being pulled into the library proper. That is it for its move. Deodora, you are up. Cal, you're on deck.
Okay, well, as my bonus action, I am going to shift.
Okay.
And become a little bit more bestial. And gain some temp HP, which I've already rolled for.
Sounds
so
good.
I'm getting 12 temp HP. And a +1 to my armor. And then I will just go attack the gate.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
So you're running into the library, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I will run towards the...
Are able to use your full movement to get into the library. You see, it's this large room. Whatever this thing is, it is... In our words, it is very large. It's not massive, but it is fully into this very large library itself. And you see it is just a creature made out of metal. It almost looks like a dragon just made out of this gate that was used to kind of hold back the books in the restricted section. It is still firmly planted back there. Its tail is kind of wrapping all the way back. But it is now currently grasping the librarian and pulling it into its kind of toothy maw. It's about 20 feet above you in terms of its size, like the top of it. Mm-hmm. But you are able to run in and see this full figure properly.
Okay. I will attack the claw that has the librarian.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, that's going to be a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Right. That's math. That's 9 damage.
Okay.
I think I'll also... This thing is larger than me.
Yes.
I'm going to expend a superiority die to add to my damage and also make it do a strength saving throw.
Okay.
That's 6 more damage.
Okay. 1 second. No, it does not have a flesh facade. Oh my god.
Who said that? I don't want to know.
Fluffy. It was Fluffy.
No.
Oh god.
Okay. And it needs to roll something, you said, fair, correct?
It needs to make a strength saving throw?
Okay. Alright, that is going to be a 24.
Fuck me. Okay, it passes. It's not knocked prone. That'll be the end of my turn. How is the librarian looking?
The librarian is looking pretty bloodied already. She took a massive hit from this creature. I imagine you're swinging forward with your sword, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're kind of just cutting in and you just hear the clang, all of you hear the clanging of metal as Deodora has made contact with this creature that just kind of, and it's a mixture of kind of metal bending as well as this roar that's coming out of this creature. Deodora, I need you to make a dex save as you go in, because it is going to use one of its legendary reactions.
That's a 5.
It's a 5. Okay. Mm-hmm. As your sword clashes with the wrist of this beast to try and get the librarian out, the spark of light and energy that emits from your sword and the metal hitting metal, all of a sudden you see metal spheres coming out of this creature and just going right into your shoulders and sides, kind of pushing you back and pinning you against the wall. With that, you were going to take 19 points of piercing damage.
Ain't nothing.
All right.
I just got rid of my 10 hit points. Ain't nothing, honey.
Cal, you are up. Oreo, you're on deck.
Cal will use his movement to run just up to the gates, and I'm guessing the doors of the library. He could see
they're
all
wide
this
open.
whole scene.
Yes.
They're wide open. He can see the whole scene.
Yes.
From in there. And as he does, he'll brandish his staff and looking around, focus on the librarian and Gremlynnart. And as he does, you'll see the librarian, the magic, the weave ribbons around the librarian and poof to Cal's side.
Okay.
Vortex warping the librarian out of the grasp.
I imagine it looks like pages from a book are swirling around the librarian, and then all of a sudden it's as they pop up right next to you. They are bleeding profusely and not looking great.
Right. Cal has done the spell to where he kind of half catches them and kind of cradles them. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about all of this. It seems this very massive disturbance. Does this happen often?
No. Why are you apologizing to me?
No reason. And then he starts, he gives the mental command to his unseen servant to start chucking books at the monster.
Roll deception. Sorry, she is right there in front of you. She is right there in front of you.
Well, that's a 6.
I would like to help.
Okay, how are you helping?
Are you certain that this is the best time to be asking a question?
Okay, go ahead and roll again.
All right.
That is sent straight to the librarian in the arms of Cal.
Got it. 11 that time. That's better than 6.
Okay. For the moment, it looks like she is dropping the subject because she is focusing in on the open wound in her side. Because you see that half of her kind of area right by her stomach has just been peeled away. So she is busy focusing in on that wound, quickly trying to just stop it as that happens. Cal, is there anything else you wish to do in your turn?
Did you catch the bonus action of telling the servant to start chucking books at the back of the monster? The unseen servant's still in the library, I would assume.
Yeah.
You're not said anything about, so the unseen servant's going to be trying to make a distraction on the other side of the monster by chucking books at it.
Okay. You go to try to make that a connection with the unseen servant. The connection is not there.
Oh no. And that, that's just like the Cal. You see Cal focus to try to find the servant, and then when he can't find the servant, his eyes just get wide. Well, that's not good at all, then. But that'll be
to kind of give, because Cal would know since he's been here already. The restricted section of the library is known to have magical elements that may neutralize some spells. So you're guessing that probably when the unseen servant came into contact, it kind of fizzled out.
Either that or the fact that it has a 1 HP. So if anything does know where it is, they can hit it and just get rid of it. So one or the other. So he just assumes that either the unseen servant got dispelled or smacked. But that'll be Cal's turn. He vortex warped her out, and he's holding till next turn.
Okay. All right. Aurea, you were up. Blackstone, you're on deck.
So we're fighting it then. Okay. As she runs behind Deodora and does the flies over Deodora to the other side of the thing, or just on the as far as she can get.
Deodora is next to the door. She is currently pinned up against the wall by the metal spheres that are kind of holding her in place as you're kind of flying in from the left.
Yeah, I'll just fly into it then so I can try to get on the other side of it. And I'm just going to start. First action, I'm just going to swing my staff around.
Okay.
22 to hit.
That hits.
That's not none of those are D8. I don't know where my D8 is. For 9 points of damage.
Okay. As it takes that damage.
And then bonus action drops it, lets it kind of wrap the wrap around for the staff, and this flurry of blows, punch.
Go for it.
Punch? Do I get 3 punches or 2 punches?
I believe it's 2.
You get 2 punches.
Yeah.
2 unarmed attacks.
Yeah. Cool. And I'll just go ahead and roll both of those. One's a 24 and one's a 10.
Both. The 24 hits, the 10 does not.
I respect that. And that does 8 points of damage.
Okay. As you are just...
And then I have to roll again to see if I blink out of existence. I pull up those stats. Yeah, I blinked out.
Okay.
But nothing special happened.
I keep forgetting you can do that, and I love that so much.
At the end of your turn,
just wait till I roll a 1 or a 20.
One of its legendary actions. Okay. As you go to blink out, Aurea, you find all of a sudden, you like feel your energy starting to shift in that space slightly. You know you never fully move, but you shift slightly. And instead there's this metal cage that is now around you that is starting to sizzle and burn.
I think if you see that, when that happens, you see like a bug in a cage, like a moth in a like just
yeah,
it's like bouncing around.
Especially, you know this as a fey creature. Fey and metal do not do well together.
Yeah, we're not happy.
And the box starts to slowly shrink.
You hear a high-pitched squeal as she's just now bouncing.
We all see this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep, everybody sees this. Blackstone, you are up as you, depending on what you choose to do in terms of running in. You see Cal is currently dealing with the librarian. You just assisted with that. Deodora has been pinned up against the opposite wall right by the doors of the library, and Aurea is kind of floating above now in this metal box that is shifting and spiraling, that is also slowly shrinking in. You see the sides of it burning red as it's starting to slowly become in contact with this fey creature. What do you do?
Do I see like any kind of help or guards coming?
No.
Okay, processing. How far is it to like the nearest guards person?
There's none in the immediate area. You could certainly try to run away. You notice when you were coming into this area, most of the guards are not nearby.
Okay, well basically the idea for me being, how much time do I have to go and get help over here?
You could certainly risk it to, leave the area. You see the shifting box slowly closing and possibly find a Crown's Guard, but you're not sure, because you're not sure exactly where to look, because a lot of the Crown's Guards aren't on campus currently. So you essentially have to make a choice if you're going to stay and do this, or take a chance to run and see if maybe you can find somebody. You're not sure of how long that's going to take, though, or the possibility of that.
Okay. Cal, I'm going to go and run for help.
Cal's like face snaps to you and eyes really big. But we need the help here. We need your help.
I do not have magic to dispel this. I also don't know what to do about this. As I gesture up at the spinning cage of magic that's closing in on Aurea.
Yep.
Right. But hurry.
Yep, what I do is speed, so that works. I am going to hand Cal Corbin, and then I am going to... Where's the entrance to the school from where we are right now?
It's about like a 10-minute past the courtyard, complete opposite direction. You know you could probably get to the entrance. It's gonna It took you about 10 minutes walking. If you're booking it, you'll probably get there in about half that time.
Okay. I'm going to leave Corbin with Cal, assuming that Cal knows what to do with Corbin if things get like very especially serious, and then I am going to dash.
All right. Blackstone immediately books it out of the library. Anything else you wish to do, Blackstone?
No, I think like dashing takes like all of those actions,
sure.
Right? Yep, because I do not have. Wait, hold on.
Are you using your bonus action dash and dashing as an action?
Because you can double dash because you're a rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like if I can double dash, then I'm absolutely gonna double dash.
Yeah, you can double dash. That's why I was waiting to. That's why I was like, please do it.
No, like that's like I went to go look at the bonus action and it said cunning action, and I'm like, wait, does this give me an extra dash? Hold on, yeah. And then I was just like, okay.
Yep. So that you can use your bonus action to dash, so that will get you further. That will cut your time down even further. So
yeah, we're about to Mario Kart double dash this whole thing.
Like speed running it. All right, you were taking off towards that entrance. It is now the creature's turn, and then Deodora, you are up. The creature, which kind of now is kind of grunting and shifting. You just see the metal shifting as it starts to grow larger in this space. You see bookshelves are starting to smash over tables. Books are being strewn about and getting destroyed in the absolute chaos of this creature moving around. The creature that is currently in front of him and what they were targeting is Cal and the librarian. So it is going to be moving its head in your direction and lets out this loud roar. I need both Cal and the librarian to make a dex savings throw.
Cal rolled a 13 on that.
Okay. The librarian did not really roll that great. So as it roars, you see, similar to the same thing that had happened to Deodora with those spheres that kind of all of a sudden, a solid piece of metal starts protruding from the mouth of this creature, and it starts branching off and making almost this cube around where Cal and the librarian are. Immediately, Cal, you feel metal hitting your skin and digging in. It's not pinning you completely, but you are getting hit with it.
Right.
The librarian is also going to hit by this. You both take... Ooh. 32 points of piercing damage, and I need a Constitution savings throw on top of that.
Cal's
Are you
down.
even still up?
Oh, oh no.
Yeah. 32 is
squishy ass wizard.
Yeah, 32 is more than his max.
You have to hit your double max.
Yeah, it's your double max.
So you're just unconscious.
So he definitely is at
He's
0.
down. Oh, and you're gonna fail.
Cal
then,
just got.
You will fail then the first death save because you also are taking poison damage with this.
Right. Right.
So mark off 1 failed death save. With
wow.
That,
okay
both
then.
Cal and the librarian go unconscious. Blackstone, you can hear through your connection that you have with Corbin. You get an image of Corbin scurrying away from the area to find a spot. And a little voice saying, things aren't, going really well. You might want to hurry. That's all you hear. I forgot what Corbin's voice was. There's too much going on.
I don't think you've ever spoken as Corbin.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah. The runway scene. There was a lot of Corbin.
Right. Yes.
Can I have
It's
the
like
runway?
Sam.
This is not really bad.
That's the voice.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Look, Corbin's voice changes when they're scared. Okay.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll to see if it gets its resistances back. It gets one of them back. Okay. All right, Deodora, you are up.
Yep.
And then Cal, you're on deck.
So I'm pinned.
You are
currently.
pinned. Yes.
So will it be an action for me to try to get myself out of this, or?
I will make it a bonus action because I'll say that the kind of spirit of battle is kind of pushing that adrenaline through your veins, so you're going to act quickly. I will give that to you.
Okay. So athletics. 22.
All right. You can hear the metal and fabric tearing as you're getting out. You will need to also, with that, you rolled a 22 with athletics because you're kind of off the ground. You land and you're able to land and not get injured in any shape or form.
Okay.
With that athletics.
Okay, I'm just gonna go attack this fucking thing again.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
That hits.
I am gonna add a superiority die too. I think I can add some to my damage. No, I won't because that's just a trip attack. I don't want to do that. Oh, not great. 7 damage.
Okay. As you are just hitting, again, metal hitting metal. It's not looking bloodied. It's not looking rough. It just starts to turn in your direction.
As a free object interaction, I'm going to switch from my greatsword to my maul.
Okay, go for it. Can easily do that. Anything else that you would like to do, Deodora?
No, I just want to make sure that I want to do my best to make sure it keeps its attention on me so it doesn't do that thing to Cal again.
Sure.
That's all.
Okay. And you do look over, you see kind of smoke and dust rising from where this blast hit, as Cal and the librarian are just kind of slumped up against the wall, in this kind of sphere. If you've seen Naruto, it's Sasori's kind of got that attack that he does with the puppets, where it kind of just creates this cage around where Cal and the librarian are. All right, Cal, I need you to make another death savings throw.
It's a 19.
Hey, okay.
So, hey, you made that one.
One fail. All right. Aurea, you are in the sphere. You can try to get out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lose my shit in here and just try to bust way out.
All right.
What do I need to do?
You can do a strength check. No.
5 total.
5. The cage with that attempt starts to tighten around it. At this point, it's starting to touch the tips of your wings, and you hear it as it's starting to singe your wings.
That's lovely.
That's it for you, Aurea. Blackstone, you are up. You are running as quickly as you can. Arms back, doing Naruto run.
Like, you could almost see, like, to the untrained eye, you don't see the little air blasts that are coming out of, like, the back exhaust of my form. Okay. I'm obviously, like, looking for, again, running in the direction of people. So, if I don't see anyone, I am going to, like, double dash I'm going to continue double dashing.
Okay. At this point, a lot of people are starting to move away from the area. It seems like a lot of the students are just running from whatever chaos is happening in the library. A lot of the professors aren't here at the moment.
Specifically, I'm looking for, because they normally have like some kind of contingent or at least like skeleton crew in terms of like guards and things.
Correct. You are not wrong. It just looks like for the moment, at least, you haven't quite come across anybody as you're kind of touring this area. You can continue moving or double back.
Does the school have walls to climb?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of walls. There's a wall that separates the school from the rest of Illipin, where a large gate you all walked through.
How high is the wall?
The wall is about 40 feet.
Okay. I would like to try to climb the wall.
Okay. Go ahead and roll, I would say, dexterity.
Can I get away with acrobatics?
Sure, I will allow that.
Parkour.
Please. Okay, that is a 12.
Okay. You're struggling a bit. You're trying to maintain your connection with Corbin to kind of ease your eyes in terms of the situation that's happening. So you're slightly distracted as you're kind of grabbing up at this bit of stone, and it kind of loosens for a moment. You end up dropping a little bit. It takes you a little bit, but you are able to get up to the top of the wall. You do see that the street is pretty barren. Down the street, there is, back at the Jester's Lament, there is a number of students that are there. You do see that there is maybe 1 or 2 Crown's Guard that are kind of chilling at the bar as well, drinking.
Wait, what school are we at
You're at Lyros. You're not at Astera. You're at Lyros. You're in Illipin proper.
No, I thought like the Jester's thing was like way further back from in the place that we left. It's here?
Yeah, it's right in this area. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's a block or 2 down. You can see it being at that wall and now having that vantage point. Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, how far away are they?
Probably 120 feet.
Okay. If I can see them from there, you said it's 120 feet?
I'm gonna give it to you that it's probably a little bit further, but for the sake of I see what you're trying to do, I'm gonna say it's not too far, and you're getting a little bit more vocal magnitude because you're in a very great spot if you need to yell, which is what I'm kind of picking up that you're gonna try to do.
No.
No.
I am not going to yell.
What are you gonna do?
Ooh, okay. Okay. I have to figure out how I'm gonna do this because this is going to be a problem. But we're just gonna have to try it and see how it works. Oh God, I don't know how I'm gonna fashion this. Okay, I am going to take a short bow.
Okay.
And I am going to fire it at the table that the guards are at.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and roll an attack. Yes.
That attack is going to be a 12.
Okay. The arrow sails as it connects. You see that the one of the Crown's Guard was lifting one of their mugs to go and take a sip as the arrow just kind of cuts through the mug. As ale just goes absolutely everywhere. You see the arrow sticks into this wooden pillar that's holding part of the bar itself, and you see all of a sudden they start looking in your direction at the top of the
if they
wall.
look back, they will see me waving at them from the wall.
Okay. You see at this point 4 Crown's Guard have quickly pulled out their swords and are running in your direction.
Wonderful. I think that basically takes up whatever is happening this turn. I think so.
The creature is going to make another attack on Deodora. Tension firmly on her. That is going to be a 26 to hit. as it's just going to claw, and I need you to make a strength savings throw as it is going to try to grapple you.
Okay. Sorry, that was cocked. 25.
25. You're able to just get out of the grass and not be held by this creature, but you are going to take some damage as you're kind of moving away. So that is going to be 19 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
I could have handled 19 points of something. I didn't. You didn't get the 30-something points. I got.
I've collectively, taken 30-something points.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
That's true.
I mean, fair game.
Fair game.
Okay.
And Deodora, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna bash it with my maul.
Go for it. Cal, you're on deck, by the way.
Oh my god. Sorry, my die rolls so far. 20, another 22 to hit.
22 to hit. Awesome, that hits.
That's gonna be math. 11 damage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can do right now. I think actually I'm gonna second win as my bonus action.
Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, so
it's the energy kind of coalesce, and you feel a surge of energy.
Oops.
As
I get 10 more back.
Nice. You feel like a surge of nature kind of revitalizing you a little bit, healing up some of those wounds. Anything else you wish to do, Deodora?
No, that's it.
All right. Cal.
What do we say to the god of death?
Oh.
Not
What up,
today. That was an 18.
Nice.
So, yeah, another success.
Not today. All right. Cal's coloring is starting to come back slightly. Not looking great, but coming back a little bit. I'm going to roll for the librarian real quick. Okay. Good to know. All right. Borea, you are in this cage.
I'll roll again. That's plus my that's 8.
As the cage starts to coalesce even more, you are going to also take with that, because at this point it's starting to get
I deserve that.
4 points of damage. It's just basically it's metal and it's fire.
You know, I mean, I'm not doing that bad in this cage. Maybe I have the right spot to be in. Cage isn't the worst.
You know that's bad when the cage isn't that bad. Like
the cage is the safe place, apparently.
Blackstone, you're up. Then it's the creature. Then it's Deodora. Oh, you are muted.
Thank you. I pull out a tinderbox.
Okay.
I pull out a tinderbox, and let me see. What's in the tinderbox, actually?
I mean, I'm guessing just flint, steel, and dry paper, tinder.
Not paper. It's usually like some kind of hay or.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, like okay. So like I basically take the tinderbox and like wrap some of the materials around one of my arrows, and I light it on fire, and then like leap from the wall in the direction of the library.
Okay. The Crown's Guard are chasing you still. You still see them following you.
Okay, cool. If they can see me and I can see them.
Well, you've disappeared behind the wall, but you can hear from where you're at. They are running in your direction.
Okay. If they can, I'm pretty sure like they can be like, oh, okay, they can see the direction I'm leaping in.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So I leap in that direction and then start double dashing toward the library.
Sounds good. All right. You double dash towards the library. The Crown's Guard are following further back. At this point, they're probably about 60 feet behind you, but you know for a fact it's pretty much a straight road once they're beyond that wall. So they're in pursuit as well. All right.
Okay.
That's it. The creature is going to, at this point, make a bite attack against Theodora.
I hope you miss, but you might not.
The first one misses as Theodora kind of just quickly moves out of the way. I rolled a 4.
It misses on me?
Yeah.
Riposte. I'm gonna use my reaction to hit it.
Do it, do it, do it.
No. That's a 2.
Nope, you're kind of just like just trying to get your
like
balance.
Oria right now.
Just trying to get balance as you're moving around real quick. As it is for its second attack, gonna try and also get you again with its claw. That is going to hit, I think, with a 22.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. That's gonna be 15 points of piercing damage as it just digs into where there's a little bit of breakage between your armor and cloth.
Okay.
Unable to, it's not trying to grapple you, but it's definitely trying to just do some damage real quick.
Yep.
Theodora, you were up. Cal, you're on deck.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it with my maul.
Okay.
I'll try to. No, that. I probably won't be able to. I got a 10. I'm wondering if I can add. I'm gonna try to add a superiority die, see if I can hit it.
Okay.
No, that's just 11.
Nope.
The cage that's around Oria. It's like a physical thing. We can see it.
Yep, it's literally these. Think of literally how a D20 looks. The metal outside of it, and then Oria's on the inside of it, and it's slowly shrinking as the metal is kind of whirring around Oria.
Okay. I'm going to use my action surge then to attack the cage to try to get Oria out.
Okay, go for it.
That's a 16 to hit the cage?
16 hits.
Okay, great. That is 13 damage to the cage.
Oria. As Theodora swings at the cage, it's like you are being hit by the blade. I need you to take 13 damage.
Illegal.
It's not.
That's illegal. I'm taking this to D&D court. Illegal.
Don't
don't hit the cage again.
Your Honor, this is absolute nonsense.
Your Honor, this is some bullshit.
No, it's not.
Judge rules bullshit is part of the game. So.
Bullshit allowed.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Oria.
It's okay. It was a good plan. I thought I was about to get out of this cage. I was excited.
I did too.
Gathered this cage needs to be destroyed from the inside, not the outside. As you just see this gash kind of open up in the very front of Oria from where their blade was hitting the metal. I love chat. It's not an illegal cage. Listen. What the hell? Damn.
We did not sign up for a cage match today.
I want them to succeed, but I'm not holding back either. Listen.
Well, at least we know chat loves us today.
They love you all the time.
I know.
All right, Theodora, anything else?
No.
Okay. Cal. Need another
Tonight, the role of Theodora will be played by Eeyore. No. Alright, Cal's gonna try to stay alive.
Okay.
That one was a 6.
Alright.
So that's 2 success, 2 fail.
Yeah.
For Cal right now. That's not good.
No.
Yeah. Okay then. That's how my day's going. That's happening.
And Cal, as you're kind of in this suspended state, you're still somewhat aware of what's around you. You can feel that the librarian around you just goes completely slack as breath leaves this earth, water, genasi. Oria,
okay then. So that's disheartening.
Oria, you are up.
19. That's a 19 plus 3.
You kind
22.
of are able to just kind of like almost Super Saiyan out of this cage as metal just goes clinging to the ground. You are out. You can feel the bits of your wings are slightly burnt, but not like, you know, they can fix. They go through their molting of things. You are out of the cage. I will say that does not take your full action. I will allow you to do something else.
Okay. I don't... Action, I'm just... Oh no, if I fly away from this thing, it's gonna get an attack opportunity, aren't I?
It's not in... It's focused on Deodora, and you're not within range that if you were to move, it's not gonna do an attack of opportunity on you.
Oh, I also have 40 feet, so I could... Okay, my action, I'm going to fly out of the cage to Cal and try to medicine check them to not have to die.
Okay, you're not able to fully reach them because the bars of the metal cage are kind of around. So you're kind of having to reach your hand in to do this medicine check, but you are able to do
Okay,
that.
as long as I can
get
to
you can do
him.
it. It's just, it's not going to be like, oh, he's right here.
It's a 17 medicine check to stabilize.
Okay, you're trying to stabilize.
Yeah, so Cal doesn't have to do any more death saves. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure he doesn't die.
You make contact with Cal.
Wait, didn't you give us health potions? We have health potions, don't we?
Throw it in my face! I used mine on yours already.
I'm just gonna throw it at Cal's face. Open it wide!
Open wide! It is an action to do this, so that's perfect.
Yeah. I'll do that instead of the medicine check. I'll heal you, health potion him.
You see the magic potion disappearing down Cal's throat.
Swallow! Swallow!
After a couple of moments, there's no change. Did it work? And then Cal comes into consciousness.
Let's say, no. We go into D&D court now. You ain't taking my health potion from me. No, we done.
As Cal,
pushing us today.
You are waking up. Go ahead and roll. I believe it was 44. If you were using the normal.
I was using whichever one we had.
Yeah, it was the normal then. 44.
2, 3, 4. Oh, are you rolling or am I rolling it?
You would roll it, April, since you are feeding.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points of health.
All right, get that.
And then, so I would still have my bonus action.
Nope, your bonus action was to get out of the cage.
Oh, okay. Then, yep, that's all I'm doing.
That's it. All right.
I'm just gonna say right now I'm probably about to go down, and so, but I do have a greater healing potion on me.
Good to know. I'll just rip that off your belt, and I'm just throwing potions in faces.
All right.
Shot.
That's it for you, Blackstone. You are running. You're almost back at the library. The Crownsguard are still following in hot pursuit.
So I'm just going to ask a question for movement purposes.
Sure.
Right? How much movement do I need to do with this flaming arrow to be back where I left?
Oh, God. I mean, you're double dashing. It's not going to take that much time to get back. The actual movement, it's still probably about 60 feet away at this point. And it's around the corner. It's not you're now in the hallways. You're getting near the courtyard, and then there's that turn.
Like, basically, I'm trying to figure out if a dash will do, or if I'm going to have to double dash for this, because I have a plan.
Double dash.
Okay. So I am going to, I guess we're going to take a move action and then the bonus action, right? To double dash here, right? Okay. So we're going to double dash to get there.
Okay.
And if I can see what's happening on the scene.
Yes.
At that point.
Take in
fully. Like, I'm pretty sure the guards can see me. And I can see everyone.
Yes.
I want to take the arrow that I still have, that's still on fire, and fire it at this creature.
Go for it. I will allow it.
Okay, that is a 21 to hit.
21 hits.
Wait a minute. Do I get sneak attack damage?
You would. You would. Because,
okay.
One, Deodora.
Because I'm right there.
But two, the creature wasn't anticipating you coming back. So, yes, you would.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Okay, that'll do. We have a total of 12 damage.
Okay. As you just fire this arrow, are you aiming for a specific area, Blackstone?
I mean, I don't know enough about what this creature looks like to try to aim for like a critical spot.
It looks like a dragon, but instead of it actually having like completely filled out, it's like someone did a drawing of the dragon and never actually colored it in. So the metal is just kind of giving the outline of the dragon. You can see where the eyes are for this thing.
Then I'm going to aim for that.
There you go. All right. The arrow, and you see the kind of metal starts to heat up and go from a black to a red as it's getting heated up by this arrow. It quickly kind of moves its head back, outwardly kind of taking a step back. So Deodora, if you wanted to take an attack of opportunity, you could certainly do that.
I would love
kind
to.
of trying to shake this out. I can't move my neck that way. It's just moving its head, trying to get the arrow away.
23 to hit.
It hits.
12 damage.
All right.
Like, I just imagine that whole thing being a really cinematic anime scene of me just like running and sliding into position before firing
like arrows coming on in and going for
with
the...
like with like a little like the like Krautsguard waving like swords and stuff, and you can see them like as like with a slight blur in the background.
Mm-hmm. You are able to do that. This creature is looking not bloodied, but it's looking a little bothered. A little bothered. Blackstone, anything else you wish to do?
No, I think that's actually all the stuff that I can do in a turn.
All right. It is going to... Let's see who is it going to go for. All right. Now that it just got hit in the eye, it's going to swipe, trying to hit Deodora, but instead ends up swiping towards Aurea. Instead, it's reached just a little bit too much, as a dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. Alright, and that's going to be 15 points of piercing damage as its claw just kind of right onto your back, as it just kind of scrapes across your back as you're kind of almost shielding Cal from this hit that's coming in.
Cool, I'm still up.
Okay. That is it for now. Deodora, you're
two
up.
left.
Cal, you're on deck.
What are your potion drinking rules?
Feed it to yourself, bonus action. Feed it to another person, action.
Okay. So... Ooh, okay. Damn, I wish I hadn't used my action search. Okay, but okay, I'm gonna attack with my maul.
Okay.
And then we'll see what happens. 21 to hit.
21 hits.
That's another 12 damage. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to drink I have 3 charges of this, my potion of fire breath.
Go for it. Yes. Go for it.
And then that'll take effect on my next turn.
Okay.
Because it's a bonus action to use it.
End of your turn, it is going to use a legendary action. Deodora, I need you to make another dex save.
Okay.
As its mouth opens. And
no.
Or you've seen this happen before with Cal. It is now happening to Deodora as this piece of metal comes out and starts branching. What was that?
I don't pass.
Okay. All right. Deodora, you get hit with this and take 35 points.
I'm down.
Of piercing damage. And you will fail 1 death save as poison starts to corrode through.
Greater healing potion right there. Just saying. 4d4.
All right. Cal, you are coming back to consciousness. It's kind of like in that movie when like a character comes back and you just see like somebody flying in the background behind them and just kind of taking in just the absolute, everything's kind of muffled and as blood is just slowly pumping through.
It's like
brain.
Saving Private Ryan, where you just have that high pitched tinny in your ear.
Yep, pretty much.
And you said it was okay.
You are in this cage. You're able to move, but it's going to take you a little bit to get out if you were to do something.
Would it? I gotta double check one of my spells to see if it does help me get out of this.
All right, and then Oreo, you're on deck.
It doesn't say anything about getting out of stuff.
I'm gonna look back at Cal while I see him puzzling on things and go, do you have anything that, do you have a fireball, a lightning bolt, a snowball, or something you can throw at me?
And Cal looks at you and like kind of puzzled. Would it be an action or a bonus action to free for Cal to free himself from this?
It would be an action.
Be an action to free himself. So, yeah, anything that uses an action, that would mean me staying pinned. However, Cal just looks and and he goes, like questioning.
Like, there's a gesture relative to wherever Cal is from Blackstone that's just kind of like, okay, well then throw that at me. Fire would be nice.
Please have a good idea. And Cal just goes for magic missile. He just magic missiles, but makes it fire because he can transmute the element of his spells. So he sends 3 magic missile darts straight at the palm of Blackstone then.
Blue embers of fire come racing in your direction, Blackstone.
Fantastic. I am going to take that moment to have a reaction.
Okay.
And so you see, like, where you just expect the spell to, like, have an impact, you're just like, what's happening? You see, like, glowing blue lines are coursing through, like, veins from his hand as the energy of your spell goes into it.
As electrical cackling starts surging through the stone, you see Blackstone's eyes flare up, kind of like an energy bunny boost. Almost,
and there's like a little
battery.
There's like a little 8-bit fireball where his eyes are now.
As that is happening. All right.
And Cal is like sitting there just puzzled, like that didn't hurt him, that didn't do anything to him. He just took that whole magic missile right up into his hand. You're muted, friend.
I was going to say, if you did damage with magic missile, I would take whatever half that damage is.
Right, so I probably should roll the darts, right?
Yeah.
DM? Okay.
Yep. Go ahead and roll.
So, you took a little bit of damage. You took...
How much is the total
13.
That you rolled? You rolled 13?
That's the best I've rolled on a magic missile. And it's on a friend. Why?
Fantastic. So I take 6 of those. That's fine. You gave me all the power possible.
All right.
The power of friendship. I play Pot of Greed. So yes.
And that's all Cal can do because he can't use his movement if he's pinned and he doesn't have any bonus actions ready.
All right, Aurea, you are up. Blackstone, you're on deck. As you see Theodora just get pelted by the same metal cage that seemed to restrict Cal a little bit ago. As
I need everyone to stop falling down.
Doesn't even hit the ground. She just kind of goes limp in the cage as the metal is just holding and blood is just slowly dripping down.
I know where Theodora keeps her keeps their health potion. I'm just gonna reach in, grab it, and just smash it against her face.
All right.
And
you fail at no, I'm kidding. Go ahead and roll.
I will put this game to the ground.
Go ahead and roll.
11 points of healing.
You rolled 44?
Yeah.
Okay, 11. Great.
There you go.
Thank you.
And then bonus action, I'm going to use a key point for patient defense as I stand over Deodora. Because I forgot I could actually maybe help us if I use key points for other things.
I'll say you'll stand in front of Deodora because Deodora is still kind of locked in that cage.
Oh yeah, I'm protecting Deodora with my body.
Yep. All right. As Deodora, you come to consciousness. All right, Blackstone, you're up. Then it's the creature, then Deodora.
How far are the guards?
The guards are closing in. At this point, they're probably about 25 feet behind you. They are racing as quickly as they can, but they're also wearing heavy... You're used to Deodora. They're kind of wearing that heavier kind of metal, so it's taking them a little bit.
Okay, so what you see is I draw an arrow and I point it at the Crown's guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the end of it, like, catch on fire with the same energy that I took from that magic missile spell.
Okay.
And then they watch me like knock the arrow and point it at the thing that I'm attacking.
Okay.
Wait. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo that. Okay. That is going to be a very sad state of affairs in terms of attacks go. That is going to be a DC of 8 or an attack of 8.
It kind of just, as the arrow launches, the creature just kind of like grabs the arrow as it hits and then just slowly sizzles it out.
Are Aurea and Deodora not engaged with it, giving you some kind of advantage? As a rogue?
You're a rogue.
Yeah,
Sneak
you
attack.
rogue.
Sneak attack.
But he got it.
I have to hit the creature first.
Yeah, he has to get advantage if we're there.
I didn't know if they got like advantage on those
attacks. If
attacks.
had taken like Sentinel or something, then yes, that would be giving some kind of advantage.
Fair enough.
But not even flanking is really involved because everybody's
Right.
kind of filed in front of it.
Yeah.
No, that makes
I don't
sense.
think we're a threat to it.
Okay. Let me see if I have. No, I'm not going to move. So at this moment, I'm going to stay put.
Okay.
I'm only going to I don't think you can do that. So yeah, we're just gonna hold
What were
that
you
real
gonna do?
quick.
I'm curious. What were you gonna do?
Like, it's one of those, I'm gonna hold a move action to move if the creature tries to attack me, but I feel like that's more of a reaction thing than
That would
an
be
action that
a
you can
reaction
take.
at
So
that
yeah.
point, yeah. But still good to know. It's you know, I'm trying to be a little bit loosey-goosey with it when it comes to things, but also not trying to give you absolutely everything. So, okay. The guards at this point, Blackstone, you'll see this, kind of taking in now the noises that are happening, seeing the trails of blood that are coming out of the room and back into the room as well. You see one of the guards kind of quickly grabs in their pocket this stone that has kind of a metal weave on the front of it and starts quickly talking into it. It's a sending stone. You can easily pick that up. They're calling for someone who is a little bit more magically inclined to perhaps take care of this. But they are there. They make it to the doorway with you, and that's as far as they can get with their full movement. But
Okay.
I will roll them into initiative when it comes to it as well.
Okay, and then the last thing I say is, they're probably going to bring the professor here. You know that, right?
As if
I
my
say
day
that to
couldn't get
Cal.
any worse.
I say that to Cal specifically.
Yes, and Cal, as if my day couldn't get any worse.
All right, that's it for you, Blackstone. It is the creature's turn. Seeing Aurea in front of it, it is going to go ahead and make a bite attack.
At disadvantage because I've taken the dodge action.
Yeah. Well, with a natural 1, it kind of lunges in your direction and kind of lands on its stomach as it's lunging in your way. You're just kind of able to kind of just like tap it away almost to redirect the attack so it's going off towards your right. So it is on the ground. It is going to then swipe at you with its claw in an attempt to also try to get up. It's a clumsy creature you're getting. But that doesn't hit either because that's a 3, and even with it, it's not great. So that doesn't hit either, which is great.
I just lift up my foot.
Yep. You're like, sit back down.
Bad puppy.
Down. All right, Diodora, you are up. Then it's the guards. Then it's Cal.
Okay. So I'm sort of just hanging. I have like those metal spikes still in me, right?
Yeah, you're kind of hanging in there. You can get out, but it is going to take an action to get out.
Okay, that's fine. I will take my action to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Athletics. That's cocked. 23.
Yep, you can get out.
Okay,
you
great.
Have your bonus action still.
Yeah, and I will breathe fire on this motherfucker.
Hey, go ahead.
So it has to make a dex saving throw.
Okay. If it hits, like if it, the dex save is not saved, you can add an extra d12 to your attack.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll get one of those out, because...
In terms of dex, it's a 19.
Okay, it passes,
actually,
but it's still...
hang on. Because it's prone on the ground, it has to roll a disadvantage.
Oh, yes.
Which, and I will show it, that's a nat 1.
Yes! Then it's going to take 4d6 plus that 1d12 of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, okay. Oh, 11 on the d12.
Fuck him up, fuck him up.
15, or 15, 18, 22, 25 damage.
25 damage as this, like, sputter of a little bit of heat comes out, and then all of a sudden you just kind of firebend this flame at this creature that just starts, you see the metal warming up and warping. It's having a hard time maintaining its current figure as the metal is twisting and trying to move away from the heat. It is starting to look bloodied. But it is still there. But you did a significant amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you wish to do, Diodora?
No, that's it. I can do this 2 more times, baby.
All right. The guards that are now in, one of them is continuing to speak on the stone. One of them is going to rush over to where you are at, Cal. And they are going to kind of hold their hand out to you with a question on their faces. They're also kind of looking at where the creature is at. You see this pulse of, it seems like healing magic, and is in their hands as they are going to quickly try to give you a little boost, but also asking for permission.
The most vigorous nod of consent is happening on Cal right now.
And that is going to be 14 points back as you see your scales are starting to mend together with that.
Nice.
That's all that one will do. The other one is rushing over towards where, let's see, Blackstone, no. One is standing by Blackstone. The other is going to rush over to where Diodora and Aurea are. They have these 2 long swords that they quickly draw, and they are going to start slicing at the metal that has been heated up by Diodora, trying to break that connection as it's trying to get that together. Natural 20. So you just see all of a sudden the metal just starts to break into little bits as it does. $22 points on the first attack. That is a second nat 20, I shit you not. As this guard again cuts up and does another 30 points of damage as the guard is just kind of cutting at basically where Deodora has quickly signaled are the weak spots for this creature. They are lit up. It's kind of hard to miss. And at this point, they are also more pliant than they were before. That is it for the guard's turn. Cal, you are up, Oria, you are on deck. Sorry, y'all, I know we're going a little late. I don't want to end mid-combat. Things are wrapping up, but thank you for sticking with us.
You know something? Just give us a W in chat if you're enjoying so far. That's what I'll say.
There you go.
All we need. That's all we need. Did Cal get any assistance freeing from the things, or is he still is he healed but still pinned?
No, you used your action to move out, remember?
No, I used my action to shoot some magic missiles at.
Oh, I thought you used. Okay, yeah, then you're still in the cage.
Right. So then he's gonna use the action to get out of that.
Okay.
Actually, wait. Is it still attached to the monster, or is it?
No, when basically that breath kind of happened, that metal shifted away from it. It basically was taking a piece of metal, kind of like imagine those metal gates, the bars that are up. It separated and built this cage around you.
I thought that was the deal,
Sure.
But I just wanted to double check.
Yep.
So, he's going to use his action to get out of this.
All right. Takes it a little bit.
You said it was an athletics check?
Mm-hmm.
Good thing that's what Cal is the best at. And by best, I mean literally the only negative modifier
he
has. So rolling a 6 and then summing that up to a 5 means that Cal is just like...
Nope.
Help!
You're still a little fatigued from that. You're also trying to be mindful of the figure that's next to you that is no longer moving as well. So you're trying to be mindful, even in the heat of battle.
Disentangle myself. Okay, well.
Yep.
If he is stuck there, he's going to go ahead and he reaches down, touches his legs, and says a ttrpg, and then we'll see that same kind of blurring effect happen around him when he's cast Expeditious Retreat before.
Okay.
Cannot use it this turn.
Sure.
But goes ahead and makes sure he's got it in play.
Okay. All right. That is your turn. Oreo, you are up. Blackstone, you're on deck.
Swing my quarterstaff around. I'm gonna boop it.
All right. Boop it.
17?
17 just misses.
You weren't supposed to say that. Okay, bonus action, flurry of blows.
Come on.
I'm gonna try to kind of hop and help flank with Deodora.
Sure. Are you wrapping are you just hitting straight with your hands?
Yeah.
Or with your
I have the so okay. my quarterstaff's kind of on a loop thing, so I hit it and then drop it and then I can just swing it back around and catch it. Okay. But my hands are wrapped.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
The hand wraps.
Yep.
Yes. No, I made sure that's in my art. I made sure she's got hand wraps.
I had to check, I
can't touch metal. I have hand wraps.
That needs to be merch. like for kitchen. I can't touch metal.
The first one was a 10.
Miss.
Or 9, sorry. And then a 16 plus 7 is my second one.
Okay. The second one will hit.
That is... full damage, 9 points of damage.
All right. As it takes this hit from you. All right. Anything else, Oria?
Oh, I've already used my bonus action, so I can't. Nope, I'm just going to stand here.
All
Hope
right.
It doesn't pick on me.
Your move.
Okay. Is Deodora still down?
Deodora is up.
Okay, Deodora is up. Other people are being tended to.
Everybody is up at this point. Yes.
There's a guard next to me.
There's one guard that's next to you. One has moved over to where Cal is at. There is one that has moved over and is trying to slice and dice next to Deodora and Oria.
Then I'm going to take the time to join into the fray, and I'm going to look at the guard nearest to me and say, "My apologies for the inconvenience."
No, it's good you called us. Probably good. We'll talk about this later.
That's an 18 to hit?
18 just hits.
Okay. Let's roll some damage. Let's roll some sneak attack damage. Okay, this came out pretty good. That is going to be... Okay, that's going to be 16 piercing damage.
Okay.
Is that... Wait, hold on. Does it tell me what kind of damage this thing does?
It should.
Yeah, it does. It's piercing damage.
Okay, piercing. Got it. So you kind of... Are you using daggers? What are you using specifically?
Like, we're still throwing them bows.
Throwing the bows? All right.
Bows and arrows.
Bows and arrows as you just kind of are going exactly where Diodora just launched that fireball of magic in that direction. As you see the steam as the metal is starting to cool a little bit, but your arrow is able to find purchase. Okay. Anything else you wish to do, Blackstone?
No. At this point, we're just planted here.
Okay. Creature is again going to make an attack, this time first on the Crown's Guard that just did a massive amount of damage. Alright. That's not great. It does hit, and it crits on it. So...
I love that Jordan is like critting on herself.
I know, I hate it. I actually really hate it. Because I rolled a nat 20 on the guard.
The former guard.
You see the guard has just kind of settled back in a defensive position as that metal that had been slowly heating up and trying to maintain the shape that it's had is distorting. It instead shoots in the direction of the guard, completely impaling him through the chest. He falls to the ground because I rolled max damage on that, and that was real bad. So
Oofles.
Wait, so is he still like alive and just down?
No.
No, that's dead. That's squish.
Yeah, he went in the case of double hit points.
Okay, that's a splat. All right, got it.
To give you an idea, he took about 65 points of damage. So yeah, he bye-bye.
That would do it. That would do it.
Is down.
Children, this is your lesson. Don't steal from the fucking library.
Well, maybe not the restricted section, which perhaps
just don't do it.
Things in place to kind of make sure that it's protected. So yeah, that kind of happens. Diodora, you're up.
Okay, bonus action. I'm gonna breathe fire on the thing again. So,
all right,
dex saving throw, please.
Okay. Nat 1.
Oh my god.
I kid you not. It's a nat 1.
We're not complaining.
That's 16 fire damage.
Okay. And you added that extra D12, correct?
I did.
Okay.
I did not roll well on it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just attack with my maul again.
All right.
Dice tray is over here. 21.
That hits.
Oh. That is... What is my bonus? That is 14 damage.
14 damage. Okay. As it just takes the hit, metal starts to kind of slowly drop from this thing. You can see it's starting to struggle to maintain, but it is still up for the time being. All right. Next are the 2 remaining guards. The one next to Blackstone is going to draw from his back. It looks almost like a toothpick, and then he kind of moves his hands up and down, and it enlarges to a spear, which he is going to chuck at this thing from where he is at. Okay, roll pretty well. That is gonna hit. Okay. it connects with the shoulder that has just taken a massive amount of fire damage. I need Deodora and Aurea to make a dex savings throw as the guard shouts, "Duck!"
No. I'm gonna go down again. Dex is like
I rolled
my
a
worst
nat
stat.
1. Dex is my best stat. But I rolled a nat 1.
I rolled a 5.
Altogether, it's an 8.
Yeah.
Alright, I need to get more. I don't have enough.
And altogether, it's 13 if we combine.
If we add our numbers together,
can we hold
each other?
Yeah. Hold each other. You can
Not Jordan being like, I don't have
just
enough.
hold each other.
You can hold
Oh
each
my
other
god, I'm just down. I'm just down.
This delayed fireball goes off.
It's a fireball?
It's a fireball.
Oh,
Bro,
no.
really?
Wait,
with people standing right there?
Tried to say duck.
Hey,
This,
you tried to
this
say
guy
duck.
needs to be fired.
Okay. "22 points of fire damage."
I'm
Yeah.
down.
I only had 2 left.
I just had my 11.
Oh my god. You just see Cal and Blackstar, you just see Deodora and Aurea just holding each other. How are you embracing as this fire? It just...
I think we just grab hands because we're next to each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm imagining that happening when the fire blows back, like it just consuming them, and you just see a silhouette of them holding hands.
Just this black smudge of it on the wall for where we get
No
eviscerated
fluffy
by this.
snowfall. We haven't even gotten to the heist. This is not the pearl. This is something
We
else.
can't even get in the front door.
We haven't even gotten to the pearl.
We just wanted to take the books back to the library.
These are the fucking consequences of Cal stealing
This is
5
Cal,
books
yeah.
from the restricted
this is Cal
section.
stealing
Cal's
5 books
fault.
from the restricted
Cal will-
section
Why
of
did we
the
take them
library.
back? We could have just kept them and none of this would have happened.
Why do we have to be?
That was
Why do we
your
decide to be
decision.
good people in this moment? This
This
was a bad
library
idea.
has terrible late fees, guys.
Run.
Just the worst.
We should have just left. Just gone away.
This is where Blackstone appears, like off of the side panel in a chibi format, and goes, "I asked them to take the books back so Sam wouldn't get in trouble for them being missing.
We were looking out for
But-
Sam.
But no one has asked me, so I'm going to hush." As I just draw another arrow.
This is like the moment where it's like the record, record scratch freeze frame, and it's like, and that's when they realize they
fucked up.
Because we're also out of healing potions now.
Yep. All right.
I think
Cal,
one
you
of the
were
guards
up.
has healing though.
Yes,
because
one
they
of the
did something to
guards
Cal.
does have healing. Yes. Cal, you are up. Aurea, you're on deck. God damn it.
All
Make it
right,
easy, close your life. No.
Did you see? Because I want to get to my friends and help,
You can
but did you see?
I did. You can certainly try.
Okay, I feel like I might have better luck with that
Sure.
than another athletics check to break out of this.
Sure.
So, Cal, after all the frustration of trying to get out of this metal cage and failing last time, takes a deep breath in, and nope, Deodora doesn't hear anything. She's unconscious. Then everyone else will hear that high-pitched squeal, but then Cal opens his mouth, and it's like the dubstep wool that comes out. It is just this like this wall of force and vibration that comes out of his face as he's just like so frustrated with can't get out of this, and he just breathes this wall of sound as he uses his thunder breath weapon.
All right. Go for it.
All right, so that is going to be, it's a cone, and they make a dex save. So since I'm not doing it against creature, against this object to try to shatter this object off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just want me to roll the damage, see if the damage is enough to break it?
Yes.
Okay. So let me grab that D10.
Woo-woo. I'm legitimately sweating because I want you all to put through this, but I'm also like, I can't pull punches and it's killing me and I hate it.
Yeah, that was a 3. I don't know.
Pull punches. You're the DM. You can do whatever you want.
No.
Cal rolled a 3 on the damage for that breath weapon, so I'm sure he barely shook
metal
them.
shifts. Doesn't move.
All right, then. Nope, not gonna do that. So that's Cal's turn.
Okay.
David, I did for next turn, but
Aurea.
that's Cal's turn.
Dex save. Or, yeah, death save. No. Oh, God. Your thread that is tethering you to this place is starting to shift. Alright, Blackstone, you are up.
Do I see... Okay, so you think they said we're out of healing potions as a group?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I don't want to risk that. I do not. Okay. So from all of this attacking and stuff, have we identified anything that looks like a weak point?
I mean, Theodora has kind of lit it up. It seems like it's reservant against any kind of heat. It has a hard time maintaining its form, and when that happens, it's a little bit less orderly when it's doing. So anything kind of heat related, or if it's been impacted by heat, it seems a little bit more sensitive to.
I look at... I was like, hey, Cal, can I have another one of those fire things?
I mean, I guess on his turn, next turn, Cal could shoot that at you, but currently, you just see him struggling at the moment. He sees what you're asking for, but he can't pull it off at the moment.
Okay.
You've reached down Theodora's throat, grab that fire.
God. Oh, not that, please. That is gonna be another 12 damage.
Okay.
From another arrow.
It takes that damage. All right. Anything else you wish to do, Blackstone?
Nothing that could be helpful in this situation because I'm not in melee range of this creature.
Okay. The creature is going to turn its head to where Theodora and Aurea have been downed and make an attack. However, as the claws start to drift down, for the rest of you, it's almost like watching slow motion as this is happening. Just as the claw is about to connect, there's a explosion of magic that happens just in front of Theodora and Aurea. And it looks like a sphere that's slowly glowing and shifting. And it settles right in front of Theodora and Aurea as you see two figures becoming illuminated. Cal, you recognize one of them as Pithyweather has entered the library. Along with another figure, smaller.
Cal leaves. Cal takes a disengage.
Just kind of pieces the fuck out. Smaller. Looking a little bit more disheveled. And as this scene is happening and Pithyweather quickly takes in the fact that the library has been wrecked, several people have been downed, we're going to end that for this week. So, thank you all. I know we went long. I didn't want to cut it in, but that is where we're going to end for today. You'll have to stay tuned next week for the ending of this battle, whatever outcome that may be, as well as our guest. Y'all, do you think we should tell who our guest is going to be for next week?
I don't know.
Who's gonna save us?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be?
Did they sub to the Patreon?
Oh, now.
AB, always be hustling.
Patreon gets
ABH.
it first. Patreon will always get it a week or two ahead of time. But because we love this person so much, I think it's only fair.
And they're in chat right now.
They are in chat right now.
So let's go ahead and show everybody. We will be having Robo Goblin next week.
Robo Goblin, Robo will save us.
Save us, Robo! We need your help.
Yeah.
Save us, Robo Goblin. You're only hope.
That's what Drix says immediately.
Robo will be joining us next week, so stay tuned. And we'll see what, kind of happens. There's still so much to do. Thank you all so much for hanging in there. Like I said, I know we went a little long, but this was really fun. It was terrifying, but it was fun. This is where we're going to end it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are going to go ahead and raid. Blizzbear is having his final stream before he moves, and he's been doing a 48-hour stream.
And we're about halfway through.
We're about halfway through, and I believe he is playing some Disney Dreamlight, which is ironic because he, I believe, hates that. So we're going to go and send our love and support over there. Thank you all so much. Go hydrate, take a rest, take a moment. We'll be back here next week with some fun shenanigans with Robo. Bye, y'all.